Awesome. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week, level 2. Please come on videos. And thank you for keeping your discussions on. Yeah. Come on video, everyone. Please show up your faces. Yeah. So how was the last week? Anyone can talk. Pretty hectic week, I suppose. Do you feel the level of your assignments kind of increased over the previous week? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
Good
Okay.
to know that was intentional
Yeah, it is intentional. Of course,
because
I
it was quite a step change. It wasn't just like a gradual, it just went from like boom.
no, it's not like of course there are places where the discussion part becomes a little smaller and more the doing part comes heavier in the next few weeks. So that also happened. But for right now, because your do it along is frankly separate, your exercises don't demand you to go and do particular UI on the screen, right? So therefore, your discussions are very, very heavy. Okay. So slowly a discussion part will reduce and more of a doing will increase, and all that stuff will happen. Yeah. So good, very good. So in general, I've seen all the discussions, the questions, and the learnings, and all that stuff. So I'm super happy the kind of questions which came and the learnings, everything. I'm very, very happy with the kind of discussions which happened. I'm damn sure all of you had like a very, very good ride of these assignments. Um, yeah, because there's a lot which you have to discuss right now. I'm kind of rushing. Um, so, hmm, taking a look at guarding the usability. This is about next. Guarding usability is not next week, I guess. Is it next week? But anyway, whatever. So, um, yeah, so I was quite happy with the kind of engagement we are having right now, especially with the revised structure. And so I hope all of you are clear that each of these assignments are falling under one particular section like product design or UI and tool skills. Um, right? I hope all of you are realizing that these are all coming under overall sections. That is clear, right? So you're basically learning skills in multiple sections, and each of these assignment builds that muscle in these particular sections, which will ultimately help you work on your portfolio project. Okay, so the project which you guys going to work on will have a lot of references back to the practice you have done in these exercises. So please take the exercises very seriously. If you are not doing it, if you are missing out on a lot of stuff, because the moment a project is given to you, it's not like suddenly I will be able to perform and do design, all great ideas will come and everything will happen. It doesn't happen that way, right? So having these discussions, having these debates, questioning and all that stuff already increases your ability to become a mature designer, more than knowing the right answers, which generally don't exist. I keep telling the same thing, right? It's not about knowing the right answer. It's about having an opinion on your own and start your ability to even question those things, right? Even asking good questions, even coming there already increases your maturity to be able to create a product. Because with whatever thoughts you have, opinions you build, you will be able to build a product. The difference is you don't have any opinions, you'll not even be able to translate anything. You have some opinions, you will be able to build a product. And anyway, the way you test whether the product works or not is by going and testing it. So the design process anyway has foolproof way of actually building a good product. So I don't have to worry about what do you say, you knowing perfect answers, because that will not hinder you from creating a product. Even if you think all your answers are wrong, even if you think, uh, what do you say, you have no clue of what exactly or what exact reasons this company has done that or whatever, if you are able to think about it, you're able to ask questions about it, that means you have learned the ability to create a product. If not, if you are a person who is not able to ask any questions, not able to gather any learnings by doing these exercises, you're not even able to understand why those exercises exist in the first place. You will not be able to do a project. You will not be able to handle a problem statement by yourself. Like given a problem or a project brief, you'll not be able to understand it, right? So I don't want any one of you to end up being, okay, the project is given, and then I'll basically go to a template, fill in the template and submit a particular project. Um, it just doesn't work. These are not like, you won't end up, I mean, you can probably finish a project in that manner by going and filling a template, but you have not become a designer, so you're not fit for the industry, right? So take these exercises very seriously, build your muscle, build your maturity to think and design, right? And you'll come to a stage where you'll be able to handle your project in a much better manner in your own perspectives. Okay. So I hope I'm very clear. Please don't chase for the perfect answers. Okay. Now, okay. So I've seen the questions which came this week. Uh, there are a few groups which did not submit their questions. So you're gonna miss out. So please do submit your questions. So that is, there is 2172. Anyone from 2172?
Yeah, Nadi.
Why didn't you guys submit your questions?
Oh, yeah. We some were confused about filling the form after the call.
Got it. 2174. 70 and 74. Anyone from 2174?
Yeah, Nadi.
You guys also didn't fill the form. Any confusion?
Which form specifically? We must have missed it.
The submission form for this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we must have missed it. We'll do it as soon as possible.
Okay. I, as a group, you should not miss it. At least one person should have seen the announcement. So yeah, what about 70? Who is there in 70?
So I think there's some confusion and we will fill it today only.
Who is this? Padmini?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, next is, this is to group 2179. Who is there from 2179?
So I'm there. So I think a couple of us are there.
Rakshita. Okay.
So
Amu, Nisha, Madhura, Manish, Rakshita. How are the discussions in your group? Are you feeling productive about your discussions or not? 2179 especially.
yeah, it's going good, Anuvik. Any reason you're asking? Like,
Because your questions,
yeah.
I feel your questions are kind of very broad. Because if you do the exercise, I expect much specific questions to. So you're able to complete the exercise as a group?
Yeah.
You're able to complete the exercises? What kind of doubts are generally coming up? Like, what are the confusions which are happening in your group? Probably happening in other groups also, but I noticed it in your group. This is the questions. So I wanted to give some extra
I
attention.
think for the last we had to really think of doubts because we spent so much time that one person was solving other person's doubts. So
Okay.
when we had to answer those 3 questions, we really had to think hard what to put in. So I don't know why it
No.
happened to us.
Why? I mean, because frankly speaking, other groups have kind of restricted themselves with 3 or 4 doubts because there are so many other doubts which they want to ask, but it's kind of opposite in your
Hmm.
case. What's the problem in coming with the questions? Let us say, can you give an example of, like, say, user flows? You're working on that, right? What's happening? Like, what kind of typically happened when that assignment happened?
I think mostly, Sonali, you can also pitch in. Mostly,
Anyone can talk from your group.
mostly we were concentrating too much on the technicalities, I felt.
Okay.
Um, even in when it was heuristics or something, we were thinking too much about is this just one heuristic or both the heuristics can come up, or
Which is not wrong. Which is not wrong.
but
Uh,
technically we were going too deep and trying to figure out answer where there is one correct answer, something like
I
that.
think that is what is happening. See, figuring out is not wrong. That's what I wanted to do as a part of the exercise. That's why I keep giving questions on the starting of the exercise, right? Where you will have to figure out stuff. That is not wrong. That is
Pretty one, yeah.
But I think you guys are sticking on to finding a perfect answer before you do the exercise. So change that. Read the questions first. Don't go deep into those questions. Understand that these are the things you should figure out. Do the exercise first. Then go and figure out as a part of the exercise.
Okay.
Got it? Everyone, I think, should adopt this thing. The first 3 questions which come, read the questions, right? Have those things in your mind. Do the exercise. Do the activity 2. Come back to activity 1, right? As you're doing this exercise, you will realize that, okay, I have to go and figure out about this particular concept. Go figure that out and do that exercise. I think then your questions will be much better, is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So,
hmm.
can I say something?
Yes, Sonali.
So you're saying that we should do activity 2 first and then 1?
No.
Because
I'm just giving you a hack, right?
okay.
When you take activity 1, read the questions first. All of you are cognizant of what you have to figure out by the end of the exercise.
Okay.
Right? But don't take it the textbook way that you will figure out the perfect answer for it.
Yeah.
After knowing it, you will do the exercise.
Okay.
If you get logged in it, a lot of time you'll be lost in figuring out the right answer. You will not get it because the entire internet out there, like, it's very difficult to boil down to one perfect view. It doesn't exist. That's the point of these assignments, frankly speaking.
Okay.
It's your own perspective of the answer, right?
Okay.
But
So
another
instead,
to spend some time on it, right? Like otherwise we don't know.
do it as a part of the, like, as you are solving the assignment, you're stuck. You don't know how to go forward. Let's say you're supposed to identify a flow and then you're stuck. Oh, what do I mean by a flow? Then go look for a flow, come back.
Okay.
Try to do multiple steps. Then go and understand what is the meaning of a task, come back. Do it that way. Do the action first, then discovering part along with it.
Okay.
Right? So then it will be not just your group, multiple groups. I have the same thing, but still, at least people are able to manage very specific questions, right? Is what I felt in general. Okay.
Sir, also because somehow we used to miss activity 1. We were not giving much importance to the activity 1, honestly speaking. And also only there are many members
Probably
in the
that is the
group.
problem then. I think I misunderstood.
Yes, sir.
You guys are doing the assignment without having in your mind what is the goal of doing that assignment, because activity 1,
we are reading the activity. Sorry. We are reading the activity 1, but we are not going into details like detail about it, and then directly jumping to activity 2. So I'll speak for myself. Last week was really difficult for me. I mean, everything was going just above my head and I was not understanding anything. So to ask questions also, I had absolutely nothing. Like, what should I ask? That way.
You should ask about your confusions. You guys are like, what I feel is, that's what I'm saying, you're waiting until you learn something and then do an assignment. The assignment is supposed to be done without learning anything and to be figured out. You don't know how to understand a flow. but you're
Mhm.
attempting, because the assignment is just a common sense assignment, right? Nothing
Yeah,
more than that,
right.
right? But you get blocked. You get blocked that you don't know what are the steps here.
Yes.
Go look for it. That is when you learn, right?
Okay.
It cannot happen otherwise. It can't be like, no, I need to figure out all these things, only then I'll be able to do the assignment.
Okay.
I think that's where so multiple problems might be happening. One, you guys either are waiting until those first activity questions are all perfectly answered for you. Two, you're not worried about it, because and then you miss the goal of why this assignment is even important in the first place, because those three questions present a goal of
Yes.
what you end up learning.
Right.
Because if you do the assignment well, you'll end up figuring out about this in a very good manner,
Yes.
right? Or third is uh, third is, yeah, I mean, one is either waiting until you start the activity to get the answers. Second is not giving at all. Two things only. Yeah, not giving enough importance to those questions and not understanding the goal at all. Right? These are the two things which might be happening. But okay, so the point is, I want you to all go back to those assignments, understand the heart of these assignments, and understand the goal, why each, like probably all of you in your VCs. First discuss, why do you think are we even doing this assignment in the first place? What are we going to learn from this? Have a little clarity about that, right? Because again, guys, not able to do the assignment is not your inability. If you take it that way, you'll only get discouraged. The assignment is an opportunity for you to go and explore and learn those things, not the other way around. You need to be very clear about this. Okay? Because it's a non-textbook program, right? There is, you have to figure out the answer. You have to figure out how to deal with that. You need to figure out how a flow works. You need to figure out how a journey works, right? You need to figure out how an idea is translated to a flow and all that stuff. It needs to be figured out, right? So I'm giving you enough opportunities to figure out all these things. Now, and then when you ask these questions, when you discuss about these questions, your brain opens up because you have done it. But consider a textbook course. Say, hey, you know what, guys, this is a flow diagram. Then you're just constrained towards only that way of creating a flow. And tomorrow in your real companies, it won't work that way, because different products have different types of flows and different goals for it and all that stuff. So you'll be totally missing out on you experimenting it yourself. Yeah. So it's very important to understand. So discuss what I'm even learning from this. What does assignment achieve for me in the first place? Think like this. Okay. And again, I'm telling you, the way to ask questions is to understand where you are blocked. Your inability to do something can be expressed as a doubt. Or you've taken a direction, you're not sure about the direction, you can express this, it is a doubt. Right? If you guys are not asking that, this is not just your group, many groups I have the same complaint. You guys are not asking me the questions which I can allow you to unblock you. You're asking a lot of questions which are coming are a lot related to your curiosity, which I'm not blocking, right? Your curiosity solve hoga, but is your ability to work like that increasing? Like tomorrow when you're working on your project, will you be able to come up with a flow? Will you be able to identify an existing flow of a competitor app? Will you be able to understand what feature is related to what kind of a business goal they have? Can you do this yourself? If not, it is a question. It has to come as a question. Anudeep, please help me here. I don't think I'm building this ability to do this. For example, I tried to do this in your assignment. I tried to do this, and here this is where I'm failing. Please help me out. I'll take that example. I'll give you an answer. Those questions must come. You don't ask those questions, you will not build that ability. And you're thinking, okay, probably if there are tutorials out there, I'll learn it. As long as you watch this tutorial, you will love it, right? But will that teach you your own ability to do it? No, that's my problem. That's my problem with tutorials. Right? So, okay, fine. Okay. That's one thing. But or else, good questions, all of you. But by the way, when you're writing all the learnings you had, you guys are like kind of generalizing things, understood the significance of business metrics. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, what is that? Yeah, your learnings will be very specific, right? What have you like what is that you have unlearned? What is that have you hit? You know what? We realized that how many ever like the way we, let's say we represent a flow, but if you go and zoom in into two different steps, there are also multiple steps over there. We also realize that if you go and zoom into those two steps, multiple other steps are coming there, right? We realize that in a flow, there are certain things the product is representing and there are certain things which the user is trying to do. These are your learnings, right? You let us say, you can say, when we looked at the example of this Mintra or whatever, we realized that they're trying to promote this particular thing. And we can see that there is a relationship between they trying to increase their average order value from this particular experiment. This is a wonderful, that's what we learned from this exercise. I want you to basically go and talk like this in your learnings. Very specific things which are doing from the assignment. That's the intent of the assignment. Yeah, is it all clear, everyone? Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I don't even want you to write things like understood how to identify user flows, gained insights into process of deriving user flows from real world examples, engaged in discussions concerning user goals that encompasses multiple user flows. कुछ नहीं चल रहा है मेरे like there's nothing I understood from what you learned. Don't. Just give me 3 or 4 specific examples of what happened in your discussion and what are some of the things which really hit. That's it. Yeah. Probably I think I should pose the question in a very different manner. Probably I should say 5 specific things which you understood by doing this assignment, right? If the assignment is about business goals and we're saying I understood business goals, like, okay, awesome, thank you. Let's move forward. Right? So, yeah. Okay. So I hope all the groups now take it to their ego that Anudeep is not happy with the kind of learnings which are posting over there. After putting so much of effort, now our group nearly needs to think in the micro and really, really needs to put very good learnings over there. Okay. So I'll help you out. Okay. Don't now what we will do, I'll just quickly help you out. Okay. So what we'll do is we will take an example of all the 3 assignments and we will I'll try to I'll basically ask 3 different representatives from anyone to present me one example from the workbook which they have solved. Okay. And what I'll tell you is, one second. Okay. Yes. So, so what we'll do is we'll quickly try and we'll bring in those examples. I'll tell you what's the importance and how is that you can think. And there are a lot of questions which I have noted down. As a part of doing that, I'll answer those questions. And I think all of you will get much better clarity of these skills. Okay, shall we do that? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, ready? All of you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, there is one thing which I wanted to clear before this exercise. That is, so what happened is on the channel, I have given one nice answer about your, you know, basically how do your business metrics work, or as a UX designer, how is it that you're bringing in business impact? Okay, so I'm going to talk about it for for a little time. Probably I'll bring an example of that, and then what we'll do is we'll just go into those exercises. Okay, because this has been like one of the most pressing questions. Okay, so so the question is, in general, the question is, as a designer, how is it that I can impact a business? Okay, that's the question. Okay, so all of you please take notes. Okay, this is going to be very important. Please take notes. Okay, so as a business, how is it that I can impact a business? Okay, so generally, what do we think when it comes to impacting a business? We think that I should somehow be able to make sure that my company makes a lot of money. That's what we think. Okay, if by working as an employee of a company, or through my role, if I can help the company make a lot of money, I'm going to impact their business. There's a general thinking, yes or no? All of us think in this manner, right? Which is not totally wrong, frankly speaking. You are ultimately helping your business, means your business has to make money. That's very straightforward, right? But the only problem is in directly translating it to the way you will work versus the company making money. Usually misunderstood as, if I build this feature over here, will it lead to more profits? Right? One-to-one translation of this business impact statement is what is the problem, right? Because businesses don't work in that manner, that everything you do, the only question is, will it give me more profit? Will it give me more profit? Is not the only question, right? Ultimately, the equation turns towards to being more profitable and the business grows. That is what ultimately which will happen, right? Now, when you say business growth, okay, I said ultimately they'll keep making profits, okay? But if you are a business, tell me, how will you know that your business is growing? Tell me, I'm open for the chat. Put it on the chat, open your mic and say. How will you know if your business is growing? Come on.
More profits,
If more active people,
users.
Okay,
if
straightforward.
more
Larger
people-
audience,
Okay, more
larger
profit.
audience.
So that
More
answer is done. No more profit.
interactions,
Sorry,
more users, daily users.
More users.
more users.
more people are using
More
the
users
product
come.
that the business created.
One by one. Just say more users. Can you explain more users in a better way? Like, put the full statement.
Getting more traffic to that website or whatever page we are working on.
Cult product. We have crossed the website zamana. Product.
Doing
Okay.
better than before, doing better than before.
How growth means doing better than before. Correct. How?
Like they have some past value that they're comparing the present to, and then they'll know that they're doing better.
Okay, very good. There's a past value, comparing it to present value. Okay. What of what? What all?
Maybe
Profits
return,
over answer
ROI,
over.
profits,
Better profits than last time. Okay, next.
and number of users that are using.
Users
I
probably.
think different kinds of metrics can be compared.
Without using the word metric, you tell me the answer.
Solving feedback.
Number of interactions.
Interactions? What does it mean?
Interactions with the product.
Did not understand. Interactions to the product?
Can we say data?
You can say data, but how? Give me a proper.
Maybe our product, maybe our product has multiple goals with it, and we might have fixed something and it is reaching like the standard which has before and the standard which has now with the numbers, maybe the session length or whatever goal that
Generic
individual.
answers. You're giving very
Can I
general.
say
Talking
grant
about the app.
An
People
example.
More
talking about
repeat.
Some example if possible then.
Can I say grant
providing value to the customers, and they increase the customers through our product, and they'll
Second, when you said providing value to customers,
through our product.
now how do I understand if I'm growing or not through that? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm growing. I understand it by understanding that I'm providing value to customers or something else. Like, can you explain, like, how is value to customers related to growth?
If a customer will enjoy your service or your product, they'll definitely retention will increase, or users interaction will increase through your product to your company, and they'll eventually comes to you the business impact your business.
Okay, fine. Okay, I accept it. Okay, more. Come on. How is it that I know that my company is growing?
Increased in revenue. Increased in revenue.
Increase in revenue, increase in profit,
Increase in
increase in
session
number
depth,
of people using my product. Okay.
Or we
No
are doing
churn.
better
Rate of
than a
processes.
doing
No
better
churn.
than a competitor.
Doing better than a competitor.
Maybe like if you are targeting
Doing
someone when you
comparison with competitors on what? So you
on the services provided,
doing better than before and doing better than competitors.
yeah.
Okay,
Like,
half you only said half of the answer. The remaining half is of what? Better than in terms of what?
our product initially, what we started off with, and maybe some changes or something that we did, and put some goal as to do better than, do better than what we did before or the competitors.
Okay, fine. Anyway, let me not confuse you all much more. I just wanted to hear descriptive, proper answer from anyone, because people are just giving one-word liners. Either they're saying profit or someone is saying we should do better. But nobody is saying, I understand I'm growing if I am making better profits than what I was making before. That's what I was expecting as an answer. Sudha was telling you have to do better than before, but not telling what. People are telling profit and users, but not telling what. What about profit and users? Right? I understand if I'm growing, if I'm doing better than the competitors, in terms of what? In terms of revenue or number of users, right? It has to be these specific things through which I understand that I am growing, right? In comparison to your past or to someone else, you have to compare. That is how you know you are growing, correct? Now, so obviously, it is now obvious for all of us that if we want to understand that we want to grow, we need to measure our growth, right? All of us said, right? It is, you have to have increased profits from what you had last time or from others. That means you have to measure it, correct? So therefore, what happens is to track any business's growth, certain measurements are used. I'm calling it measurements to start with, right? Certain measurements are used, certain things are measured to make sure you keep noticing, you keep noting down what is that particular measurement. Like you keep measuring your height every year as a kid so that we understand how is that you are growing, right? So that height as a measurement which you are doing is tracked across time or whatever, right? Now, that measurement, in other words, is called as a metric. Okay. So as a business, what happens is you want to go and keep a track on all these measurements, also known as metrics, to make sure that you are taking steps towards your business. And you can also set your goals. Let's say today you have, let's say we'll call it profit as what you keep saying, right? So let us say you're getting some 1 crore profit per year. You want to make it 2 crores by next year. The profit needs to go to 2 crores, correct? So let's say metric is profit. You want to achieve 100% growth by next year, right? So to even have a goal of growing, you need to measure something. If you don't measure it, you don't know if you are growing or not, or even going down. So metrics exist because you have to measure something. Now, that's the first part. Second part, there are different types of businesses. All of you agree? Many different types of businesses which exist out there, many different types of products which exist out there. So obviously, for every business, what they would want to measure to make sure that they understand that they're growing will be different. Yes or no? Clear, all of you? It's obviously different because every business is different. Okay. On the other hand, there will also be a few things which are common in what multiple businesses are trying to measure. Let's say all of you said profit. So you know most companies are going to measure their profit, right? Let's say you say number of users. You know most businesses are going to calculate, have a measurement of the number of users. Yes or no? So in this manner, what ends up happening is, though each business has different ways in which it can measure its own growth, there are some common patterns, common measurements or common metrics which are tracked by most of the companies to follow their growth, to track their growth, right? And then what people did is, people took these most common measurements or most common metrics and wrote documentation about it. Probably wrote an article. Hey, you know what? These are the 10 metrics which you should be very cautious of to understand whether you're growing or not. Right? Someone else writes an article saying these are some 7 metrics which you should definitely have a track on. Or someone probably makes a video on 3 metrics which you might have definitely missed measuring. Start from it right now. Right? So probably your business is measuring, as I said, profits, or probably the revenue, and probably the number of users. Your business is measuring this. Then some article comes and says, hey, you know what? It's a very important metric. So there is this business which tried to measure the time in which a person is making a purchase. Okay? A purchase, in other words, called as task. The time in which it is completed, otherwise known as task completion rate. Okay. So someone is actually measuring this task completion rate, and what they did is they did certain things because of which they increased their task completion rate, and they started seeing that there is a good amount of, they're making better profits in layman terms for now. So someone presents a case study like this on the internet. So what happens? Your company goes and says, hey, you know what? I think from today onwards, we should also go and track task completion rate. Right? Very much possible. Correct? All of you are in pitch with me. I'm just talking LKG stuff only until now. Okay? Not telling very great stuff, very small LKG stuff only I'm telling. Clear? Right? Now, someone kept this ARRR metrics. That's the problem. That is the exact problem of which I am talking about it right now. Right? Fine. Or Prakash, as Prakash says, ARRR metrics. Someone writes an article. These are like, if you go with this framework, it's a good thing to measure, right? Which is good. And what I'll do is I'll adapt those things and I'll keep measuring them and I'll start seeing some good results, right? I keep talking to my growth experts and whatever, like other founders, investors and all this stuff. I keep receiving tips on what to measure, what not to measure, what to take, or all these things is what I will keep doing, so that I keep tracking my metrics or keep adding metrics or removing metrics out of my equation. You're all with me until now, correct? So the biggest realization all of you need to have from this particular story is, first, the business exists, the need to measure exists, and then the metrics come into place. It's not the other way around. It's not that, okay, I have a business. I need to learn about what are the metrics, all the metrics which have to be supposed to be measured, and I'll somehow measure them in my product. What if you have nothing to do with task completion rate? You won't measure it. What if that is not your focus right now? Understand what I'm saying? Right? Someone says, please measure your child's ability to the height of the kick your child is trying to do. Sorry, my child is not learning karate. I'm not aiming to do that. So I don't want to measure this. It's quite possible. But probably everyone is measuring the height. But there'll be some parents who are like, I don't even care about the height. Let him grow. Let him or her grow. I don't care. Right? So what measurement, height is a metric which is something which you can study and go and measure it. But do you really want to use that metric to track your growth is your decision as a business. Right? So why am I telling all this? Because the most important question all of you have asked is, what are those metrics which are must, which should be calculated? Is the question everyone is asking. These are not like heuristic principles, 10 heuristic principles, all in all principles, right? Which makes sure that they guard your usability. It's not like that. There are hundreds and thousands of metrics which can come into place basis what you want to calculate. Probably I want to calculate my son's rate of growth per year. That's one metric. I'm not just calculating height, but I'm also calculating every month what is the delta of height which he is having. And I'll track that. And I'll see if it is per world standards or not. If I'm really worried about it, I'll do it. If I'm not, I'll not do it. That's my point. Right? If I'm training my son for some sport, if it is a required measurement, I'll do it. If not, I'll not do it. You got it? So do not do it, take it the other way around. Don't take that the metrics exist and I'm supposed to learn about all these metrics and then I'm going to use these metrics. Again, coming back to Magic Masala by Maggie. Magic Masala exists, I'll use it, Maggie becomes wonderful. No. The need for the masala comes first and then the masala comes. Got it? Okay. So now this story is clear. Okay. Now, that's why you will see a lot of metrics, a lot of different types of metrics, and you'll see a lot of popular metrics, in which I gave you as a question in your assignment, saying that what are the popular metrics which a lot of businesses track. So as a student, what you're supposed to do is understand, let's say you read 2 articles, you say, okay, conversion, let us say task completion rate, or whatever, looking at some 4 or 5 metrics. Bas, ho gaya, that's it. Don't have to worry. Because the point is, when the need comes tomorrow to measure something, you will go and learn about it. It took you just 10 minutes to go and understand a metric by Googling it. So now you're confident that you can find out about a metric in 10 minutes if you have. That attitude should be very clear by everyone. I made you practice how to understand a metric by spending 10 minutes. So all it takes is 10 minutes to understand a metric. So I can do it when the need comes. Okay, done. So do not chase all metrics in the world. Do not chase understanding every metric because you haven't even done anything to even understand the metric or to impact that metric through design. I'm not even come there yet, right? So don't aim for that. Is everyone clear? Please don't take the perfectionist approach of understanding all metrics, every metric out there and having a perfect understanding of each of these metrics and all, right? Is it clear or not? Because there are a lot of questions which are just related to this. And I want to be very clear about it. Everyone, please say you're very clear about this. If not, please watch this recording again. This is really something which is very clear. Very clear. I also see worries about not understanding few metrics. Chill, no worries. Absolutely don't worry. Right? As a designer, not at all required to even this worry, because the next point will even reduce your burden even more. Okay. So now what I did is in the chat, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but what I did is I sent a message where which is a long gone kind of I don't even know where to find the message now. Like a long thread of conversations happened after that. But there's a big message I sent where I kind of did a role play. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I kept this message, probably link this message and put it over there. Okay. This is the part which I explained you till now. Okay. Until here is what I explained you till now. Okay. So now there is a small role play which I wrote over here to understand what is a designer's role in understanding business metrics or understanding business impact. Okay, probably I'll do the role play here once again. Okay, so okay, so there's a product manager, let us say, sitting in a team and says, hey, you know what? Before you ask me what does a product manager do, first listen to the role play and then you will understand automatically. So a product manager comes, a senior product manager comes and to a junior product manager says, hey, you know what? Our what was the example I used here? DAUs. Okay, fine. Okay. Let's say this is Agio. Okay, all of you worked on your opening challenge on the rewards program, right? Whether it should be paid or whether it should be loyalty based, right? Membership program, correct? So then the senior manager comes and says, we launched the paid membership program. Okay. But what's happening is the number of users, when I say DAUs, okay, number of users per unit time, that is number of days, is actually less. We want more people to take our membership. Okay. For simplicity's sake, I'll even remove the payment. It is let us say a subscription, like not a paid one, but earned one through loyalty. Okay. Let's say that model one. Okay. So what happened? The senior product manager, a head product manager, took the decision that what we'll do, we'll make people do 4 orders. After 4 orders, they'll get the membership for free. Okay, this is what is implemented. Now, obviously, you would want to go and track the growth of this membership program. Yes or no? It's not that you're just launching it, expecting money to flow. You want to track the growth. Correct? Now, the senior product manager observes that there are not enough DAUs. Like the DAUs are like very less, right? Then goes to the junior product manager and says, we need to do something about this, DAUs. It's very less. The junior product manager says, how much? What are these DAUs, right? And then both of them discuss that this current DAUs is at 340K or probably 300K or something like that. K users per day. Okay. This figure is very less. There is a designer which is sitting beside them. Okay. Who's listening to this conversation, which is you listening to this conversation, but you're not really worried because all they discussed is we have DAUs on this membership program. It is 340K currently. Okay. And that doesn't mean anything to me right now. Okay. But what the senior product manager does is says, we need to do something about this. Kuch to karna hai, kuch to gadbad hai types, right? We need to do something about this to improve this 340K probably to some 500K or something like that by the end of this year. Okay, or probably by next year. Okay. Then the designer starts to listen. Okay, someone wants to improve their DAUs on this particular program. I'm listening. Then they both come to this designer and say, hey, you know what? We are giving you a project where we want you to work on this membership program, right? Or related things to this membership program. We want you to improve the experience of the membership program and of the process of becoming a member so that we want to achieve this particular goal. We want to go from 340 to 300 to 500. Okay. This is what we want to achieve. 66% growth we want. Okay. Now, please carefully listen. The designer is not worried about what exactly if I do, I can show 66% growth. That is not in this person's hand. Right? What is in this person's hand is to design an experience in such a way that growth happens. How much? Not in their control. How is there in their control? I'll pause here and allow you to ask your doubts here. Are you following my story?
Yeah, Anudeep.
Okay. Doubts. Someone must be confused. I'm damn sure not all 115 people have understood what I said.
So just clarifying, so you're telling that the designer makes a decision which will impact that the target. So whatever it is, like the growth in general.
Okay.
So only the decision matters from the designer's point of view. mean, whatever decision he takes should impact the growth.
Correct. I'm only worried about doing something for it to grow, but I don't have anything to do with that 66% is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. The numbers doesn't matter.
I'm not saying totally doesn't matter, but it's not in my hands. There's nothing I can do that definitely 66% will grow.
So what the designer is doing is really trying to influence the factors that drive growth.
Correct.
They're not
Which is I'm trying to
driving
explain.
growth.
They're not, yes, they're not measuring it. They're only contributing to it, to the design in such a way that the product manager can go back and measure it again. I'll go come back to my son growing over time wala example, right? So what I'm doing is I probably wants to go to a specialist to consult about their growth. Probably the specialist come, what's the height right now? What are you aiming for? They'll say, you know what, I'm this, what I'm aiming for. Great, right? What I'm saying, I am the one who is making the calculation. Currently he's 3 feet, probably he should go to 4 feet by this particular time, making this calculation. But how to go from 3 to 4 feet? What can be done to make sure that this impact is achieved? I go to the designer for that. You got it? The focus is not, I'm not asking the designer to measure it. Okay, that's what I'm coming to the point, because a lot of you were asking the question, which is expected. How do I use analytics tools? How do I understand what the data is? How do I know how to calculate DAUs? All of you had these doubts, right? What's a task, let us completion rate? How do I calculate a task completion rate? There's no harm understanding this. But a designer is not the one who will go to these analytics tools and understand these things and do these calculations or even set up these calculations. Not the designer. Got it? Can the designer do it? They can do it, but that's a different thing from their main job. Like, do you have the ability to use a analytics tool? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I can, right? Do you have the ability to read some metrics? Yeah, I can. But is that my job? No, that's not my job. Sorry. I am not the person doing these measurements. But what am I doing? I'm taking initiatives through design so that your business will grow. Right? I'm designing a protein shake so that you will become stronger. Right? Okay. This understanding if everyone has. Okay. Now all of you will, now I'll address this question which comes on. So all of you, so fine. All of you now relaxed on this point that I don't have to understand exactly how things are calculated or how do I achieve this calculation, quantitative tools and all that stuff. Is it clear? Okay.
I have a question. If
Please.
we are told that this is the metrics that we are planning to improve,
Correct.
then we're supposed to understand that how we should improve this particular metric. Is that
Yes,
something?
that's what I'm coming to right now. How to improve these metrics is what we are focused on. How much is the metric? How to calculate the metric? Not really my headache.
Okay.
I have a general understanding. I'm not saying don't have a general understanding of what conversion is or what a daily active user is. You need to understand it at least. I'm not saying no. But are you worried in understanding how to exactly calculate it, go and set it up, go to set up the analytics tools, call all the APIs? Should you do all this? Should you learn all these skills? You don't have to. A product manager will do it. There are other people to do it. Business analysts and product managers will do it.
Like in our assignment for Myntra, DAUs were asked, right? So we were discussing a person does not want to come to Myntra every day. So daily active users, maybe he doesn't want to shop. So
That's why you're misunderstanding the metric. Okay, I'll come to that point. Okay.
Later we
I noted down that question. I even kept it on bold. That question. Right. That's that. But I'm going to come to that question. Okay. So, but again, anyway, it only proves the point that so you should understand what a daily active user is. But what people are doing is instead of understanding what the metric is and what is the heart of the metric, people are going into the depths of how to calculate that particular metric. I'll illustrate an example, you'll understand. Once I tell this whole story, I will go to an example and you'll understand it even more clearly. Okay. So, okay, fine. So, now, so it leaves with this thing that as a designer, how do I influence this particular metric? So the skill which you really need to understand is, let us say I want to go and influence the conversions. Okay. Or probably I'll talk about average order value. Okay. Right now, let us say average order value in, let us say, some Swiggy, let's say Instamart, average order value is some 300 rupees, for example. So senior product manager to junior product manager, it's 300 rupees. We need to do something. Okay. Or senior product manager says, how much is the average order value right now? Junior product manager says it is 300 rupees. Great. They come to the designer and say, we need to increase our average order value. Okay, probably some 300 rupees to 500 rupees. Now, the ball is in the court of the designer. Okay, let's take this example. All of you, try and pitch in. Okay, tell me what is it that I can do as a designer to make sure my average order value increases in Instamart.
Get more offers.
Probably put more offers. Okay, why?
Show combos.
It will attract more users.
It attract more users.
And orders, the users will probably get tempted and order more.
No, wrong answer.
Add a delivery tip.
Add a delivery tip. Okay.
Also, something like donation to some kind of charity work that would also increase.
Why, Sumanya? Why all this? Why donation? Why charity tip and all that? Why?
Because to increase the average order value, we are increasing the money that's being produced at the end, right?
Okay, fine.
Or make the user to buy 500 and give.
That's fine. Average order value. You're right. Okay. Correct. You're right. Okay. So correct. Very good. What else, guys? Tell me. I'm coming to the point. All of you.
Personalize the experience.
Sorry.
Personalizing the experience.
Sorry.
By personalizing the experience.
Personalizing experience. How?
We can offer like the products that have already chosen by the user. In the Zepto part, they have given the options to your favorite pets. Like they have already added that. So like the user will tempted more to add that product that they use.
Correct. You're right. Good. So recommendations based
Giving more
already added to things to their cart or whatever. Right? You're doing
also favorite showing their favorite picks on the just right below it also.
Showing their probably somehow if you gather what their favorites is or things that they have listed, right?
Showing something that will go with what they're buying, complementing stuff. Like in Myntra, if they actually show it
complementing stuff. Okay, very good.
I have a different perspective.
Buying you're buying a coat, probably they'll suggest you a hat. Yeah, someone knows.
So I have a different perspective. How about if Myntra removes or any other app removes or says that after this amount you'll be getting free delivery on order. So
Very
people
good.
tend to add more into the cart so that they don't have to pay 30 extra to the delivery fee, because this is human tendency that they avoid investing on stuff like that. So rather they'll make add 60 rupees ka something to the cart and avoid 30 rupees delivery fee.
Yes. Yeah.
I have another idea.
Losing out
We could introduce a feature in which it would show in real time that in the last 15 to 20 minutes in your area, these items have been ordered. So this would encourage the user that, okay, in my area, these things are right now trending. Let me go ahead and try it.
Probably.
It could work for it could work for some. Yes.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
tip to the delivery person. Tip to a
Tip to
delivery
the
person.
delivery person. Okay. Fine. Okay. Let's take a pause. Let's take a pause now. All of you are giving ideas. Correct. Did any one of you ask me question on no. First tell me how to measure that metric? You did not, right? Because it's not relevant for you. Why? Because you understood that ultimately the goal is to make sure user orders more. That's it. So the metric got translated into a very qualitative goal called make users order more. Correct? That's all what you're worried about. So I'll blow your minds right now. Okay. Anyone share the screen of your assignment, of this assignment. Okay. Why? Who will share the screen? I'm giving you screen sharing permission. Who will do that? One person.
It depends on which assignment.
Arey, what assignment I'm talking about? Metrics.
It's fine. Tell me which one I'll share.
Business impact of design. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come to flows because this is related. Okay.
Yeah.
And from flows, we'll come to the UI elements part. Right? Now, guys.
Is this visible? Shall I make it bigger?
Sure. I mean, basis the do one thing actually. Give this link to me. Share the link to me privately so that I will be able to share it.
Will do.
Right? But anyway, I'm going back. See, all of you gave me ideas. Basis what? You had this goal in your mind, right? I need to make sure people increase the amount of order they need to make. But you're not really worried about the intricate details of Anudeep. What is this like? Over what period is this average order value calculated? To what all sections? You're not asking me all this right now, right? Because the product manager will take care of all those things, right? So let us write it. So, give you the link. Yeah.
Anudeep, I have a small doubt. I'm not sure whether the timing is correct, but let me ask it. Now our task is to take a decision which will impact the metric anyway, like to be in very simple terms. So like I'll give you an example. I mean, I'll give two examples in short. Let's say like we are taking Flipkart or Amazon something. The metric is like we want to reduce the drop off rates. Correct. So like the user goes to a task and he doesn't complete it. Like he leaves in a halfway. So like maybe I suggest an idea. We introduce an UA element. Like we had an example in Zepto. Like we introduce an UA element that progress bar like 1, 2, 3 it will be there. No? So that type of element which will guide the user in a way. It will guide it so that he will get a good. He will know where he is and such that he completes the transaction. Maybe he might have left because he's confused where it is. Like where is my pay button or something? Maybe the screen design was bad. So that's one way of improving the experience and getting the improving the metrics. And another thing is, let's say like in Netflix, like we want to improve the overall transaction rate. So I am suggesting we can introduce a new feature such that like for example we had a debate on Ajiona, like we are introducing a new feature. So are these two considerations come to us and this is one. And another thing, how much independency we have on, like I'm saying, a designer, I'm saying we can, by giving benefits for students in Netflix, we can have more students in it. And in a long term, maybe 50 out of 50, 30 students will be converted as a regular subscriptions.
You're going into an entire business strategy of what we need to do. And I understand what your question. I also have a similar question. I think probably you only asked that question on how much freedom or whatever this question says, right?
Yeah.
Do I really like how much can a designer influence right?
Yeah.
Because I will, now all of you told ideas. What Dharanitaran is asking is, all of you told ideas right now. What if it's not possible? You're saying give discounts. Someone also asked that question. We'll give discounts, but what if it is burning a hole in the business pocket? Right? What to do? So I'll come to these things. First, let us understand the fundamental point of why are we even talking about business metrics in the first place, and what does a designer even have to do with it, is what we'll understand, and then we'll come to these things. These are all very valuable discussions, right? Now, cool. So in this exercise, what I did is I'm by choice going to second exercise right now. Okay. And yeah. So in this exercise, for example, you said average order value. Okay. And there is a flow which has been identified. Okay. Now when I asked you question about increasing average order value, okay, in Instamart, that's what I asked you about, right? Is there Instamart by any chance here? It's not there, right? Probably Zepto is very similar, right? So let's take Zepto, for example. Okay. Carefully, please follow this. Okay. This is Zepto's cart. Okay. I'm saying, look at Zepto, very similar to Instamart, and say, please increase average order value. Then what you said? You said, hey, you know what? Suggest few items which are there. Correct? What else you said? Fill me quickly again. Suggest few items. Discount the delivery fee if more items are added. All of you
usually bought with. Yeah.
Usually bought with. All these things you're telling, right? Correct? All of you told these ideas. Correct? Which is when I established saying that if average or AOV, average order value, right? Increasing average order value as a goal is translating to increasing or making users order more. It's translating to this, correct? Which is translating to making or helping users make better choices, not choices, probably helping users with what they would probably buy or add so that they can order more. Correct? It's translating to that, right? It can also be translating it as identifying what all places people need help in deciding, right? And then you can go and help the users by going and fixing all those things, right? Or adding those features. In essence, you will go and make people order more, influence them to order more. In essence, you will go and increase their average order value. Yes or no? Right? So every business metric, if I say increase average order value, it is translating to this particular line, making users order more, right? If I say increase conversions, right? What does it mean? What does it translate to? Can you try and tell me? Increasing average order value, making users order more. Increasing conversions.
Getting more users?
No.
Switching to our app
but now
from
they order much
another
more
app.
frequently.
Not like that.
Make them order
Switching to
fast.
our app.
Making sure they order for sure.
They make the
And
payment.
not leave without finishing the order.
Mhm.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now, now I'll delete these things. Okay. As long as I'm presenting the business metric as this statement, this goal as I have as a business, right? Increasing conversion. What are you all focused on when I say conversion? You're all going about how to calculate conversion. What is the current conversions? What will it be tomorrow? Right? What analytics tools should I use, conversions and all that stuff. Instead, where should your focus be as a designer? How do I make sure that people will order for sure? People will not leave the flow. There are some frictions which are happening to people because of which they are not finishing the order. Right? Because how is conversion calculated? Let us say there are 100 people on this particular page, right? How many people out of 100 are going and continuing to payment? Let's say only 30 people are paying out of 100. That means you have only 30% conversion rate. That's how it is calculated. You have an idea of it now, right? But what can you do as a designer? Go and worry about what analytics tool will give you this 30% number? No. How do I make sure? Why are these 70% of people not finishing the order? I can go and understand that. I can go and influence their decision by doing better design and making sure that more people will end up actually buying. So even if I can go and make the 30% to a 40%, I've given very good impact to the business. Yes, that's the job of a designer, guys. That's the job of a designer. So what we need to clearly understand is every metric translates to this one particular line, right? So what I did in the assignment is I've actually split this assignment into 2 parts. Okay. If I tell this, hey, please go and improve your conversions, the ideas you gave right now, right? All of you said, please give some offers, that and all that stuff, right? These ideas are right now not very mature. Why? Because you've not understood existing ideas which products are already using to go and improve their conversions. Which is why this exercise was given to you to say, hey, you know what, right? You will be given an app, right? You'll be observing various flows and be given the business impact, right? Choose the flow which you need to work on to impact that particular business metric. What does this mean? You are given, let us say, this particular Flipkart flow. Okay. Here, average order value is what you are expected to impact. By going and looking at Flipkart, you will go and realize what all Flipkart has already done to make sure people order more. This makes sense, right? Right? You all getting the point? Yeah. And how do I make sure that it is important for you to go and think metric backwards, business impact backwards? That's what I given the first exercise for you for. Saying that go and look at these existing features with common sense. Tell me how this feature is helping the users and helping the business. And in the end, how can they track their growth through these particular metrics? Ultimately, this is where you're going, where I give you a metric, say, please go and increase the average order value. What will you do as a designer? So what you'll do, you'll go to an existing flow, let us say, and say, hey, you know what? Oh, they're already giving, you might have missed. They're already doing, right, things like, they gave a very easy to change quantity picker over here. They're giving, let's say they're not giving, let's say combo offers over here, right? Or delivery fee, they're not showing the delivery fee for how it decreases or how it increases basis what is there added to the cart, right? You'll observe that there is something which is present with something which is not present, and I can probably add this feature or not add this feature or make an existing feature better once you observe existing products. Cool now? Does this make sense? Does this relieve you? Or did this also go above your head? Like I present it in a very, 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 very like LKG manner. I'm telling you again, guys. Okay. Ultimately, as your ability. So all you need to realize is every metric translates to that one single line on what you would want to do to help users with. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's actually take a bunch of metrics. Okay, so from your assignment, tell me some of the metrics which you have identified, guys. Okay.
Daily active users.
AOV, average order value, conversions, I'm putting it here. Okay. What else?
Retention metrics.
Retention.
Session length.
Daily active users.
Daily active users.
Yeah.
Session length.
Repeat transactions.
Repeat transactions is in essence retention only. Okay. How do you measure repeat transaction, by the way? Repeat transaction rate is retention only, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, next. What else? What else? Come on.
Drop-off rate.
Drop-off rate. Okay. What else?
Customer lifetime value. We were confused about
Lifetime
it.
value, LTV.
Hmm.
Okay. Next.
Bounce rate.
Yes.
Hmm.
User engagement.
I'll tell you. I mean, there's something about user engagement. I'll put it separately. Okay, I'll come back to it. Okay, next.
Churn rate. Churn rate. Yeah.
Churn rate is kind of very. I mean, the way drop off and churn are measured might be slightly different, but yeah. Okay.
One that's been confusing me, average transactional value.
Average transaction value. Okay, I'll put it. Transaction value, very much. Okay, I'll put it just beside AOV for now. Okay.
Acquisition rate.
Okay, fine. Okay. Then
Activation. Acquisition rate. Sir.
acquisition rate. Fine. Okay.
Cart abandonment rate.
Task success. Cart abandonment. Okay. Okay. Fine. Firstly, all these metrics came. Okay. Now, do you think a business will calculate all these metrics? All businesses will calculate all these metrics? Will all parents calculate the rate of growth of their child?
No, it depends on the company.
It depends on what their goals are. That everyone is clear?
Yeah, I feel like that was a misleading example, though. All parents will calculate the rate of growth of child.
They don't.
Oh.
I don't care.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. I'll be worried if my son totally seems to be off compared to other people.
Yeah. So there is some form of
measuring
measurement
the rate
happening.
of growth. That's where I'll come to that anyway. 1 second. Okay. But yeah, like I'm not doing my business in that particular manner, or I'm not doing my. That's what I'm trying to say now. The way you are parenting versus the way I am parenting are different. So what metrics we calculate are also going to be different, right? Growth rate, calculating the growth rate of a person, of a kid is a valid metric. If I choose to take care of it, I'll take care if it helps me in my parenting style. Correct? You understood that example?
Saying that some parents would be okay if their child doesn't grow as tall as.
So I'm saying it's all independent decisions, right? The same way, do I want to measure session lengths? Do I want session lengths to be increased or decreased? Is all dependent on my business. Right? So that part, all of you are clear. I don't have to explain again and again about those things, right? First, the need for measuring these comes, and then these measurements will come for an individual business. Okay?
It
Now,
can go hand in hand also, right? Like session length should go with conversions or something. If they're simply spending time, that means they're lost also in the app. They don't know what to do.
no, one second. You told two different points. Actually, this is now I have to bring back to your question. I don't know when I press that.
You said something like we will do an example with the conversion. See, like the metrics you have learned.
Sorry?
Before starting, you said like just give me the metrics and we will do an example with it. I
That's
thought
what
you
I
were
did right
lost.
now, right?
Yeah.
No. I'm just looking for the previous question she had, and I'm trying to relate this question because there is a misconception which probably their entire team came up with. Okay, which I want to clarify it here.
That Myntra example, is it DAUs?
One second. You also asked this question, right? What if a user is not coming on a daily basis? You asked this question, right?
In Myntra, they don't need to shop every day, like
Yeah. So anyway, let me come back. Okay, that is related to this also. So basically, you need to understand that just because I'm going to measure the height of my kid, it's not related to any other measurements. I'm not going to worry about the weight of my kid. They can have relationships. They need not have relationships. Right? For example, you have better task success rate, you will have better conversions. You have lesser drop-off rate, you will have better conversions. Right? You have lesser session lengths, you have better task success rate. But if your product has higher chances of conversions, that means more number of people to come and use the product and buy. If they have higher session lengths, then session lengths increasing helps. So there are obviously a lot of interdependencies. And it all depends on the way you want to run your business. Right? Now, the reason I wanted to bring that question about if the user is not coming on a daily basis, therefore, DAU is not an important calculation for OYO, is totally wrong. Right? Because you misunderstood what a DAU is, which comes to a point of you understanding these metrics, having an understanding, basic sense, which is what I'm doing here. Daily active users is a calculation of the daily number of users my product is having. Daily active users doesn't mean the user needs to come on a daily basis. Understood, right?
I didn't understand.
No. You didn't understand? Do you understand the concept of speed?
Yeah.
Amount of distance traveled per unit time. Okay. If you understand speed, do you understand the concept of rate?
Yeah.
Rate means anything calculated per unit time. Correct? That also you understood? Okay. Now take the concept of rate and say, I can put anything and calculate it per unit time.
Yes.
Right? Now, take the unit of time as 1 day. Now, calculate the number of people using my product or coming to my product in 1 day.
Yes, that's what we are saying. Why people should come every day to Myntra.
Again, you're getting confused. It is not an individual person. How do I even give this example then? Okay, I need to break it down to even fundamental.
Probably more and more fresh users joining
Myntra will see how many people are using it every day.
Independent of the number of people.
It's
You're
more
not
of
worried about the same person coming again and again because you are measuring that with retention. How do I even explain this? Wait. Chill down, guys. I think I need to explain this.
It's more of a business perspective than a user's perspective.
No, you are totally distracting that.
Myntra will
It's like different people coming into the flow every day.
rather than seeing single user coming into the
Correct,
flow.
correct. That's what she's getting confused with, right? I need to explain the confusion to her and then explain the concept to her. Wait. And it can happen to everyone, right? So the
Maybe you can tell
one second.
by values.
One second. Fine. I'll simplify it. I'll make it a shop. Okay. Let's say you have a Kirana shop store, Rakshita. Okay. Now, what you do is you will ask, let's say you put one or probably you yourself daily. Your shop starts at 6 a.m. in the morning and 9 p.m. in the night, the shop shuts down. Okay. You are calculating on 1st of October how many people came. Let's say 300 people came. 2nd of October, 464 people came. 3rd of October, 150 people came. 5th of like that throughout the entire month, 31st October, there is a huge number, like there are different types of numbers of people coming. Now, per unit day, okay, let's take let me illustrate that also here. Okay.
Kirana shop is another thing, right? People want to buy things every day.
No. First of all, get out of the concept. That's what I'm trying to say. You're just stuck in you're not understanding mathematics here. You are stuck with why will people buy on a daily basis? Because the word daily is there in daily active users. Because you're not understanding the concept of rate. Okay, I'm coming there.
Why will people daily buy clothes? That's it. People will daily buy clothes.
We'll take a clothes shop. Okay, we'll take a clothes shop. You own a clothes shop, Rakshita. Okay, people will buy clothes twice a year or something. Okay. Now, are people daily coming to your shop?
Not much, but
People will come to your shop daily basis, right? Tell me a clothes store in your thing, in your locality. Probably some I don't know. Probably pantaloons. Daily, someone will go to pantaloons.
Yeah.
Correct. Let's say 1st of October. First, okay, there are 300 people who came to pantaloon store. Okay, you are pantaloon store manager. Okay, product manager also probably. Second, okay, 450. Okay, third, 150. Fourth, okay, some 200. Okay, tell me on an average how many people are coming to you per day.
Okay, add this by 4.
Add this and do it by 4. Correct. Okay, so per day how many people are coming? Anyone can do the math and tell me quickly.
250 to 280.
275.
275 people are coming on an average per day. Correct? The same way, there are, let us go to an online store. Okay, clothing store. First day, 300 people bought items. Second day, 450 people, 150 people, 200 people bought stuff. Right? Okay, they did some activity and the activity I'm choosing to track is buying. Okay, so on a daily basis, how many people, okay, bought on a daily basis? Basis, how many people bought or how many people did the activity of buying? 275. Daily. Okay. Activity. Active. People. Users. Yeah. Adida Macha. Now you understood the concept? Just because the word daily is there doesn't mean a user is coming on a daily basis. The daily is representing the rate. The number
Maybe
of
we can call it
active
users per day.
The number of active users, if this becomes a month, right? Number of active users per month. Now you understood, Akshita? Is this clear now? Now you understood why it doesn't matter if okay, I'll give this clarity also to all of you. Okay. In this 300 users, there might be a user called Padmini. Second also, will Padmini come? These can be totally different 450 users. Probably on third, Padmini came again. Right? But does this influence my daily active users? My calculation? It doesn't. Because all I'm doing is calculating the number of people who came per day throughout this month or probably this year. You got it? Right? Now, on first, your DAU is 300. On second, your DAU is 450. On third, your DAU is 150. On fourth, it is 200. On a daily basis, these are the number of active users you are having. Right? How do you calculate monthly active users?
Similarly, every month.
Add all this per month. Correct? On a monthly basis, what is your MAU? Add all the months. Do an average by 12. Right? Now I understood. So,
Sir, I have a question.
Like,
is it 300 people who have done shopping or 300 people who have landed up to the store?
That depends on the what you want to consider as your activity. That's why I wrote activity of buying. That's why everyone calculates DAU in a different manner.
Okay.
Okay.
My question was, if I want to impact, then I should figure out the motive, right, for people to want to come.
To want to come, correct. You want more number of people. If you want to increase your DAU, what do you want? You will have to increase the number of people coming to your store. Correct? That's what you need to do. You want more people to come and buy. What will you do? Is what you are bothered as a designer. Let's go to the example here. Okay. Here, add a photo, take a video, use a template, share that you are hiring, find an expert, create a poll. All these options are there. Correct? All of you, please follow very clearly here. It's a very important thing. All these options are there here. Correct? Why these many options are there? Tell me now. You might have done this already.
So different types of people will
To
be
cater to different types of people.
Correct? Now, different types of, like, I might want to add a video. I might want to add a photo. I'm a person who wants to share that I'm hiring. Different types of people. Like if I'm a recruiter, I'll post that I'm hiring. Right? If I'm a creator, I'll post a video. Correct? Now, yes, I can also post a video and also create a poll. I can do both the things. It's not that I won't. But all these options are helping different types of people with different types of goals to come and use LinkedIn. Correct? Now what's happening? Let us say today, without the option of say that you are hiring or create a poll, people with that kind of use case are not using LinkedIn right now. With more options right now, even with those people with those kind of use cases will come and use LinkedIn. So therefore, what am I ending up doing? I'm ending up increasing the number of people who use LinkedIn. And how do I understand it that I have increased? Per day, did my value increase? How do you increase? How do you understand whether your speed increased? You're in a train. How do you know if you are traveling faster?
Because we are covering more distance in less time.
Correct. You are covering more distance, but time is required, na? Always it's a rate. Per unit time is how you understand whether you're growing or not. If you cover more distance in the same amount of time, right? That means you have grown. The same way, because of more features, more number of people are using your product per unit time. That is a day, or probably a month or a year. That doesn't matter, frankly speaking, right? So in other words, increasing the daily activity, that's what I gave different example over here. Because more type of users can use the product, largely impacts the number of people using the product. Thereby, LinkedIn's DAUs can have a significant impact. You got it? Is it clear enough, Rakshita?
Yeah, yeah.
And anyone, guys, Rakshita is making sure that she is using my mentorship. Others are not doing it. That's the only difference between you and Rakshita. She's utilizing me properly and I'm giving these concepts. You guys are not asking these questions. I'm not telling you like that. That's the only difference. Right? But now, see, so that's what I'm saying. So look at it very carefully, everyone. Now, if I go and I looked at LinkedIn, I asked this question, why are they giving so many options? I understood that ultimately they want to cater to large group of audiences, lot of types of people. That means the more options I create, more types of people come. Instagram introduced Reels feature. All the people who wants to do Reels came to Instagram. All the people who want to consume Reels also came to Instagram. What am I doing ultimately? I'm increasing the number of people using my product. How can I say that I've increased the number of people? Anyone will say, hey, more people are using my product. Yes, but per what time? Per day, per month, per year, per what? That's why the rate is always important in any of these metrics. Right? So anyway, let me complete this. So what I'm trying to say is, if someone says, okay, you wrote all these, so you understood this, how the calculation is done. Okay. Like LKG math, I explained everything over here. Okay. Now, first thing is understanding the metric. What can you do to understand the metric? ATV, let us say it is written. Go to Google. Okay. Average transaction value. Google it. Okay. Bar comes up. Average transaction value is the average amount of a customer spends on a single purchase. It is calculated by dividing the total revenue for a given period of time by total number of transactions using the same period. They have given this. Okay. If you understand it by this particular sentence, well and great. If you don't understand, go and look at some examples to understand how it is. Right? Will everyone in this world calculate ATV in the same manner? Not really. Right? Everyone will have their own way, but there are popular ways of doing it. But should you be worried about this exact definition? Not really. What you're worried is to go to this statement. That is, if it is conversion, if I want to increase conversion, I want to increase that people are not leaving without finishing the purchase, and I want to make sure that they order, is what I am bothered about. In the same way, in ATV, I understood that, okay, it is an average value of the transactions people are doing, the transaction value, right? So fine, average order value. So what happens is, transaction is the entire transaction. Orders are individual orders. Generally, that is how it's understood, right? But some companies can take both AOV and ATV as same thing. Okay, if you want, you can actually go to Bard or ChatGPT and say, is AOV and ATV the same? See what you'll say. It's not. Okay, go to ChatGPT. Is AOV and ATV the same? Not same. Okay, they're closely related. How? Average order value measures each order placed on a specific period. Okay. transaction which could be a safe sale or a return. Anyway, so he's saying the ChatGPT is saying that AOV versus ATV might be used interchangeably, right? And total revenue versus total number of transactions versus order. See, as long as I'm concerned, order is of an item, transaction is of an entire all the set things of in a cart. That's what I understand, but it's okay, right? So anyway, you asked about it, you understood. But as I said, as a designer, I'm not really worried about the exact way in which it is calculated, because I have this power with me. That is, I will translate this AOV and ATV to this. If I want to increase the average transaction value, what is that I should do? My goal should be to making sure people order more in one order. Correct? This is what I'm worried about. How exactly it is calculated, I'm not really worried.
I have a slight confusion here. How would this apply to monthly subscriptions like Netflix, where
No,
it's
you're asking a question about how a individual metric works, which is not the point of my discussion right now.
fair enough? Yeah.
Yeah. All of you need to get this point, guys. If this point, I can basically, I've driven you all home. It doesn't matter how exactly you calculate ATV. As long as the moment you see average transaction value, if you want to increase average transaction value, if you all understand that I need to make sure people order more in one order. If you understand this, you are done. Okay, to check whether you understood or not, let me see this. For retention, I want to increase retention. So what should I do as a designer? Tell me, guys.
People don't leave the page.
Make sure people come back to the
Come back.
Make sure
People are
people come
coming.
back.
Make sure people come back.
Very good.
Rewards and recognition.
So that's a solution.
Okay.
Make sure people come back. Okay, come on. DAUs.
More people
Make
are
sure different
joining
kinds
today.
of users. All types of users are using.
Okay. Make sure more people use the product. In other words, your DAU is what is like, you know, in other words, like, do you have more people? Are more people using your product these days? Are more people hearing to you these days? Do you have a lot of friends these days? Right? It's like, is very similar, right? Daily active friends. What's your DAF these days? Yeah. Okay. Now, session length.
How to make
Spend
users
more time.
stay
Make
on
sure
the
more
product.
people spend more
More
time.
time on product.
More time.
Okay. Of course, this is if I say increasing session. Okay. Now, drop off rate.
Making sure fewer people drop off.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Increasing or decreasing is what really matters. Okay. There's a lot of disturbance from someone. Please, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Huh. I mean, for some metrics, it is straightforward. Like you wouldn't want to increase the drop off. Like nobody wants to. But session lengths is sometimes it is. Let us say, make sure people spend more time on my product. Sometimes you don't want them to spend a lot of time. You want them to quickly take a decision. So therefore, you want to decrease your session length. Both exist. Okay. Enough. Okay. Come on. Drop off rate, decrease drop off rate.
Make sure people complete the purchase.
Make sure. Or in other words, can you be more related to drop off?
Make sure less people lose interest or stop using your product.
Stop using your product. Okay. Or go forward. Okay. Next, increasing lifetime value. What is the lifetime value? What is the customer lifetime value or a user lifetime value? What is it?
The amount a customer spends in their
Tell me, yeah.
their time on your thing. Over time, basically, not just for that order, but what they have spent over time.
Correct. What does this mean? What does this mean?
It tells you how valuable the customer is for you to retain.
No, you're understanding it in reverse.
Make sure people keep spending higher over a period of time.
Correct. Okay. So Malvika, what you said is referred to the individual customer. It's like, you know what is the lifetime value of this individual customer?
But are we not talking about the customer's lifetime value?
You are, but as a metric, I'm not really worried about one individual.
Right, you want to increase it for the whole group that has been with you over time. Got it.
These are all rates. So when I talk about speed, I'm not worried about one particular kilometer.
Fair.
Got it? That's how you understand. That's why the understanding of rate, which our school was supposed to have done in a very good manner, would have saved a little time for us on the call right now. Right? So, anyway, right? So, yeah. So, the reason why they calculate something called as lifetime value is to something like, the story goes like this. Let's say you're an Apple customer, for example. Now, probably you will buy an iPhone. Apple is not probably immediately ask me. Anyway, why should I go into an individual metric right now? But anyway, so Royden said this answer. Okay, I leave you to figure that out and not waste the time here. Okay. What did you say, Royden, to increase the LTV? Someone said the answer.
Rachit said that.
Rachit, what did you say?
Make sure that people keep spending more over a period of time.
Right. Yes. Okay. So very good. Next, acquisition rate. What is acquisition?
Make sure the product gets more new users.
Acquisition rate.
Make sure your marketing department is doing their job.
For users at less price.
No, acquisition rate will be number of new customers. Correct.
No. Yeah. Make sure the product gets new users or customers.
Per total number of prospective leads. Okay, acquisition rate is a service term. But how do you calculate? User acquisition in a product? In an e-commerce, let us say, in an e-com setup. It's giving me a strategy to do it. But anyway, let's fine. Let's for acquisition,
Probably considers how much it costs to get a new customer, probably, versus what you are going to get from the customer.
No, not that rate. That is acquisition cost, average acquisition cost. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. That we cost per acquisition we calculate, CPA, we call it CPA. It's a
Is it
marketing term. Okay.
is it something like how many customers we acquired versus having number existing customers?
It doesn't really have a relation with existing customers. It is just making sure new customers keep coming. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I tell you, the next part is going to be very amazing. Okay, task success.
Make sure
The
more
people are-
people complete the
They
task.
complete the order, complete the task on the page.
Complete the task
Like
which
complete
they
the
are expected
transaction.
to do that.
When
Yes.
the user goes from like
I
one
mean,
step
the
over and
difference
say
between
accomplished
the difference between a conversion versus task success would be a conversion is attributed to every, like, let us say it's called as a funnel, right? I mean, what is it? Let's say you are in this particular flow. Every page to page you have conversion, like from here to here, how many people converted? From here to here, how many people converted like that, right? Whereas, and also it is typically limited to conversion within, making sure people finally pay for it and convert. Okay. Whereas a task success rate is attributed to any task. Are users adding items to their cart?
So can we say accomplish their goals, whatever it may be?
See, goal is what the user anticipates. A task is what a user does.
Yeah.
These are the two different, that's why I'm coming to that assignment. I know we are spending a lot of time here, but we'll come there. Yeah. That's a slight difference. Okay. I know people have asked this. So you had this assessment, right? Where I'm saying translating the user goal into a flow, identify multiple subtasks, and then the overall thing is called as a task. A task is what a user did. Goal is what the user wants to do.
So the task is the action that the user performed to achieve the goal.
Correct. You're right. You're right. Right? The task is to bring milk packet. Goal is to have milk at my home. Like I want milk is my goal.
So it's
Right?
like the verbal noun form.
The task is to actually go and bring whatever is the user is doing or is supposed to do is a task. Right? So you have a goal, from there comes your task. Right? So don't get confused over there. Yeah? Because generally, I mean, goal can be there without the task also. No, I want milk. Awesome. I really love that you want milk. It's very different from go get milk.
So here's my question. Is it about did they complete it, or is it about how well or how easily, how quickly did they complete it?
How well and how better they completed is user experience.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyway, for others who didn't understand that, I'll explain it later. Okay. But let us finish this for now. Yeah. And over, Malvika, you can leave the call now.
Goodness, you just can't wait to kick me out, Anudeep. Come on. Don't make it so obvious.
Anyway, so what I was telling something over here. Yeah. So your success rate of how many people could you influence to making sure that they added something to the cart. So the task is to make sure they add something to the cart. And how are you influencing so that people can take a decision of adding to the cart is what the statement here is. Right? Making sure people complete the task. I'll just leave it very random. What task and all comes independent of the what dependent on the situation. Okay.
So one doubt: this task can be on individual pages as well, like of a digital product. It can be performed on individual pages as well. Is it, or?
Yes. Anywhere, anything can be a task in that sense, right?
Okay.
Clicking on plus icon is also a task.
Okay, got it.
Right? That's why you can measure the height of the head, you can measure the height of the entire body.
Right.
Right? The
Yes.
metric exists doesn't mean it's always calculated in the same way.
Okay.
Right? That's why. So
Yes.
I think from this example, from this class, all of you are really, really getting about the metrics on, first of all, to understand that, oh, so I get the view right now. I understand this is how it is done. So if I'm in a situation, I'll understand how it is done. I don't have to worry about exactly how these things are done. All of you must be landing there right now. Okay. Now, okay. So now I established cart for cart environment. Finally, we'll put that, making sure what? What will you make sure? Making sure people?
Make sure people buy things added to cart.
abandon the cart.
Make sure
Let's
people
label
buy
it.
things.
Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Less people leave without completing the task.
The transaction.
Complete.
Making
Without
sure
buying the
people
product.
don't leave the cart unordered. Okay. It's important to understand both the negative side and the positive side, because which I'll prove right now. Okay. But now, all of you, focus over here.
Wait. Sorry, before you go on. So when you're talking about decreased cart abandonment, I had a slight confusion here between adding things to your wish list and leaving items in your cart.
Don't worry about it right now.
Don't worry. Okay, fine.
Again, I'm telling. First, you need to understand the heart of how we are translating these metrics into goals of what a user experience designer does. And if you understand that, you're done. How does an individual metric play, and all are individual discussions, right?
Got it.
So don't worry about it. Don't worry about individual metrics right now. What exactly does a cart abandonment rate work, and is it related to conversion? Yes, no. In principle, don't worry about all this. In principle, there are certain metrics. There can be 100 more, but each metric, how should you understand it? You should understand it this way. If I say, please go and increase the DAU of Instamart, what should you understand? You should understand, what do I do as a designer to make sure people use my product, or more people use my product? If I say, go and work on decreasing the drop-off rate as a business goal, what will you understand? As a designer, how do I make sure less people are going to stop using the product and go forward? If I say, please increase the average transaction value or average order value, what will you do? Say it, come on.
Making sure people order more in one
order.
That's it. After I come here, I'm not really worried about whether it's called ATV, AOV, or how it is calculated, how not it is calculated. Right? Let's do it. Let's quickly do it. And one second. Okay. Hey. Sorry, I was not looking at that. Wait. Siddhartha, mute yourself.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Come on. So, app is OYO. Targeted business metric, increase DAUs. Okay, since it is obvious, but I'm still writing. Increase DAUs. Right? What should you do over here? First, you tell me, for OYO, you want to increase its DAUs, correct? Okay. What does it mean?
Increase the number of
making sure more people use the product.
Okay. Correct. Okay, everyone, remaining people, come on.
Sure, more people book the hotel.
More specific. Very good. Right? Assuming the activity is hotel booking. Okay. But I'll change it. I'm not worried about the number of people booking the hotels. I'm worried right now the activity is to land on my hotel's product page. This landing page, right? I want more people, probably not here, land on the hotel booking, this listing page. I want more people to land over here. Right? Increasing my daily active users on the hotel's listing page. Or in other words, as a designer, how is it that I can make sure more number of people are actually coming to this particular page on a daily basis? What can I do? Tell me. How can I make sure more people come here?
Advertise?
Identifying the ideal user.
Answer will be that.
Design the screen in such a way that it is easily navigating to the.
Identifying the ideal user.
Cool. 1 second. People said advertise, right? Okay. It's not wrong. But whenever you say advertise, you generally think external advertising. That's what we think. That's what we are used to. We think that if I advertise it outside of this particular platform, people will come into my platform. Okay. That's one way, also increasing users, right? But what if there are 100 people coming to Oyo here, right? And you want more people from here. Let us say the DAUs of this particular page is like 100, but this page is only 30. You want to increase this DAUs. So what will you do? You can also do internal advertising. You can probably put a banner. But that's one way. How else can you advertise? What does the meaning of advertising? Making people know that some convenience exists. That is what advertising is, right?
So there's a
1 second.
1 second. Okay.
In essence, what are you trying to do? You're trying to increase the awareness or increase the discoverability of this particular feature. You want people to discover this. How can you make sure people discover this feature? Give me ideas.
Notifications, pushing notifications.
Notification,
banner
ads. Over.
Making it visible in the screen, like designing it in a better way in the screen.
Notification banner.
One banner ad is there. Okay. One notification coming. Two options.
Icons like trending, hot fire. Those kind of things.
Okay. Reinforcements, icons and all that stuff. What else? Tell me.
Ratings.
Huh?
Ratings, by putting ratings and all.
What ratings? Ratings that our hotel page is like the most toply rated page. Please come and watch.
Giving sections like activities or offers, so that like the users who are coming to the app just to explore the app would eventually land this page, that is hotel landing page.
Yes. Anyway, this is where your other assignment comes, which is identifying user flows. Okay, I'll come there. Okay, I'll tell you an answer. I'll tell you one answer which you might not even thought about. Okay, that is, what if you understand where is a higher need for people to come to hotel's booking page and give contextual suggestions at that particular place, not everywhere. Right? So what I'll do as a UX designer is I'll go and study the existing flow. I'll see where all people are thinking about booking a hotel in the first place. Or finding a hotel in the first place. Right? Is it happening when they go to search? Is it happening when they are scrolling this particular cities? Is it happening when they are scrolling this particular page? Is it happening when they are going to this particular offers? I'll think about all these things. I'll say, hey, you know what? When people want to search, people are typing, and I'll see what is that people are typing in. Are people typing in locations or hotel names, or what is that they're typing in? Let's say they're typing in locations, right? Now, once I type in a location, right? I can, what if when I look proper, let us say, I don't think that is presented here. Okay, let's go to Oyo. Okay. So type in a location, Koramangala. Okay. Once wait, Gora. Okay. Once I typed in a location, I came to a listing page. Okay. Now, what can you make sure that you can do that I am making sure that I will definitely go and type and land onto a listing page over there. What else can you do? What can you do in such a way that I will definitely type search for something and land on a listing page? What can you do?
Make the search bar more significant.
Wait, before all of you become confused, what I'm trying to prove over here is all of you are thinking large ideas, macro ideas, give offers, banners, burn a hole in my pocket. You are thinking like marketeers, but you're not thinking like UX designers.
Have a
Right?
small
Which is
carousel.
what I only wanted to talk in this call, frankly speaking, but I ended up explaining everything, right? As a UX designer, you hold the user's journey. If you can help them in their decisions through your design, you can achieve better success, which is a secret, which all of us have, which marketers don't think of, right? Improving the people landing on listing page, put an ad or write it over there. Write it. Please type search and get wonderful listing options. You will see these kind of ads. Get wonderful ideas from us. Right? But that is only a very broad way of thinking. As a designer, let us say if I'm clicking on search, okay, I'm typing in Koramangala. It is giving me some search suggestions. Why? If it doesn't give me search suggestions, right, there are lesser chances that I'll go and find Koramangala because I'm like Koramangala. Like already I typed, already I got Koramangala. I didn't even type it totally. What is happening because of it? You are helping me go to Koramangala much faster and get to the listing page.
Make the process more efficient.
Yes, flexibility and efficiency of use, fundamental heuristic principle.
So like they've already by default selected a date and number of guests and rooms. Earlier they used to ask when you want to go, how many guests are coming over, right?
Very good. They selected defaults, which you want to change, you can change. All these are the kind of decisions, design decisions, which a designer can make. Which I was going back. If I understand the user's journey or the flow of what a user is trying to accomplish and go to the every small micro of it. Did you even think between search, it literally felt like the next step, right? Search, I clicked on the listing page. Did you even think between these two? But a designer does. Right? Now, open challenge to you. Okay. Anyway, that's there in the assignments also. Right? Now, okay, fine. I'll give it here. Okay. Now, you are observing this particular search. Okay. Now, tell me, how can I improve the search experience? Okay. In such a way that I want to, my goal is to increase retention. Okay. When I say increase retention, what should come to your mind? What's the line which should come to your mind?
People should come back again.
Coming back.
People are taking notes. Yeah. Now, so does it have to do anything with how you calculate retention and what is the current retention? What is tomorrow's retention? Nothing. Right? So increase retention. That means make sure people come back here. What do I do? What can I do?
Give a code for next purchase.
Sorry?
Give a coupon code
for the next purchase.
Apandra marketing thinking over.
By making the search easier so that it's easy for them, so they don't feel there's
talking
a lot
like
of steps
Baba level talk. Make the search.
I have an idea. I have an idea. I'm not sure whether
Add a wish list, so you can add your favorite place to the wish list.
We can give
Last
Yes.
search.
No, if
Last search suggestion.
Very good.
Maybe the last search suggestion.
Very good.
Continue your
Comment,
search, which is
let us
given
say,
over here.
Or
Now,
there
right
can
now,
be a section start where you left, like where the user left, and it starts from there, like the searches.
So you show me.
They can suggest the last place on the search bar.
Anyway, I wish there was a logged in version. Okay. The moment I clicked on here, right, it could have shown me suggested places. Basis what I already searched previously. It's a pattern which you observed in many other places. You could have done that, right? What else? Come on, tell me.
Most booked places.
How will it help me retain? How will you retain me? Come back again and
Since
again.
it saves the those places, I can just come back and instead of searching, I can just click with once. So it improves the speed and efficiency.
We can
If
show
you just add a
similar.
rebook
User is able
feature,
to access, if a user is able to access
Let
those
us say,
hotels.
wait. What is my goal as retention? Today I used OYO. Let us say monthly retention goal. I want to increase monthly retention. Like in a month, I want people to come back again and again. Let's
Ask for the review where I stayed previously.
No, again, the scope is just the search.
Showing similarly, like in their affordability range, showing similar properties from based on their previous purchases.
Okay, you kind of covered it off in the last line by saying previous purchases.
So we can
Yeah.
by putting the filter option. Filter option.
How will the filter help?
It will help with the affordability and then the place
Ratings.
Sir, it will save time eventually. Like people will save time. They'll get to the whatever they are searching, they'll get in less time. So they will not switch the
That
app.
will only increase the task completion rate or conversion, right? I'm looking for a retention. I want
by
to
auto
back and search.
Simple, maybe like
by auto selecting the dates of next month or a long weekend, where people can then see the suggested options as well.
Very good, very good. Why did you say long weekend? Good idea.
Because the idea is that's when people will potentially try to book places in advance.
Right.
So
If
that's
you
how
see
you
long weekend right
retain.
now, when you go to another long weekend, you have the potential to come back. Very good.
Correct.
Very good. Awesome. Now, any more ideas coming?
Keeping Koramangala selected.
Very good. Very good. A previously searched thing is already sitting over there. Okay.
Like on this page, there is already continue your search Kormangla 8th to 9th October. So like that is
Very
one of the
nice. Very nice.
Rebook
Got it.
the
Okay.
same.
Stop it. No, stop it. Okay. I hope all of you understood now. You got it, right? When I say business metrics, business impact, all it means is this only, guys. You should develop two abilities. One, to understand existing product and see how it is impacting a certain business goals. Two, if a business goal is given, what is that you will do to make an existing product better or come up with new ideas? Understood? Simple. After this entire, I could have said, hey, Anudeep, then why don't you generally directly give us this goal only? Why don't you make sure less people use, or why don't you more customers are coming? Because product managers will come and tell you, please let us work on acquisition rate. That's what a product manager will come and tell you. But it's your job to translate it into this. Understood now? All of you understood this assignment pretty well. Not just this assignment. Tomorrow, in your mega project, water portfolio project, there will be a mention saying, what is your primary business goal? Right? And you're supposed to decide that. Hey, you know what? I want to increase conversions. How will you decide that? Basis your understanding of an existing product, its flows, and what are the potential gaps that exist. Now, if I say, let us say you are a designer for search and you want to design something, I'll say, hey, please pitch us some projects. You'll be like, hey, you know what? Let me think. Let me just talk about retention, right? In our search, I think we should, let's say this continuous your search was not there. Okay, which was literally visible and only one person saw it. Right? But let's say it's not there. And you wanted to build this thing, right? You got this particular idea. So what you'll do, you go to a product manager and say, hey, you know what? I have this idea of doing multiple enhancements. Let us say like pre-filling the location, giving continued your search, giving some suggestions, all these things, because I want to work on increasing retention. You can have this conversation with your product manager. Product manager says, awesome, yeah, let's go ahead, do that work project. We will do that project. The same thing will do in your mega project here, portfolio project here. Or in other words, what you'll also do is, let's say you work on your project, you work on a new idea, right? That's what is missing on the entire internet. They say, hey, you know what, UX designers, please work on this idea. But what? For what reason? If we don't even understand what is the impact of the work which we are trying to do, what is the point of going and designing stuff? Because the impact or your goal is what leads you to take those decisions. Or else you're all over the place. I said search. Someone said, someone was talking about what? Some listing or whatever. I said, no. We're only talking about search right now. It gives a scope. It defines what kind of initiatives you want to take. I said, hey, you know what? I'm not really so much focused on conversion. I'm more focused on retention. You remember I said this during your opening debate? I said, I want more people to come back. Therefore, a loyalty program. Right? When people are arguing towards, people will buy more here. But I said, no, it's okay. But I'm not really right now very focused on conversions or increasing average order value and all that stuff. I'm more focused on retention. Right? So when I talk like this, these are business goals. And now your projects will be very, very mature and focused. Or else your UX design projects are all over the place. Right? If you observe that literally in search, this is how much you can do. There are people coming and saying, I'll create an entire app. Right? So all of you might have clearly understood. Now, let's quickly go to the flows assignment. Okay. Can someone share that? Malvika or someone just share your whatever, whoever, anyone can share me the assignment link. Right? Because this is linked. If you understand business goals, metrics to goals, you understand how is it that an existing product can be translated to its goals backwards. Or if I give you a goal, how can you look at a product and improve it if you understood these two things? Okay. Now, to be able to do this better, as I said, as I told here, as a UX designer, your power is not just in giving ads. Your power is in understanding every part of the flow, understanding the user's journey and impacting the user's journey. How do you get there? Let's discuss about it right now.
Can I just add a quick point here?
Wait. Guys, you will clearly notice a difference between you doing the assignments and coming and me listening to me doing all this versus you not doing anything. And I'm telling you guys, this class would have been, they will not come to the next class from now onwards. They'll leave UX design and go. That is how this class can be. But if you have done it, even attempted the assignment, confused about it, Sonali, right? You attempted it, but now you're understanding this.
Yes, sir. Yes. Very
Right?
much. Yeah.
That's the beauty of non-textbook approach, guys. Okay. So Anveer's class retention rate is high. Probably. Let us see.
Sir, it's those heavy words that makes us confused. When you have put it in the very easy way, make sure people come back and all, it is so easy to understand. Then
But
just understanding what.
because you went and attempted it, got confused in the first place, you are pursuing it. Now you're giving focus to it and you're learning it.
Yes, sir.
Right? If not, imagine I took this class last week. Gone. Brain gone. Just gone. Right? Anyway, so now that is where it comes to flows. I gave this example over here, guys. Okay. What did I tell? I said, Figma keeps changing the shortcut for hiding the UI. Anyway, so coming back. Okay. So I gave this example of the goal. User wants milk. Okay. What are the actions user is taking? User exits the house, travels to the road to find the dairy. User purchases the milk in the dairy, asks the shopkeeper for a packet of milk. User travels back on the road to their house, right? These are all the actions which the user is doing, right? In other words, the user is purchasing the milk from the dairy, which is the user task. The goal, user wants milk. That is clear, right? Everyone now? Yeah. I want milk is my goal. I need to go get milk from the dairy by purchasing it, by traveling on the road is my task.
Yes.
Clear? No confusion there? Now, I am performing all these actions. I have to perform all these actions, right? How do I perform them? How will I go? How will I exit from my house? How will I exit from my house?
You will opening the
Locking the door.
Open the door. There should be a door in the first place.
Hmm.
If the door doesn't open, the door doesn't exist, you can't exit the house. Right? What is a door there? It's a feature facilitating an action you want to take. You have to go to the dairy. There is a road here. A road is a feature facilitating the action of you traveling from the house to the dairy. Correct? Now let me blow your minds. Right? User wants to go and search for, let us say, a location. Right? You wants to do this. Their goal is to finally probably book a hotel. I want to book a hotel. Task, book a hotel using this OYO website, whatever. That's it. Here, though the words are the same, my want and what should I do are being described in a very close manner, but both are different. Okay. So now I went and I came to this listing page. Okay. And I am going and scrolling, came to this particular hotel, right? How did I land here? How did I land at this particular hotel page?
Scrolling and
there was a listing page which I scrolled, which came after I searched for something, which came from the home page, which had this particular
search.
All these features, the search bar, the search, the listing, the scroll in the listing, an individual item in the listing, all of them have enabled me to take certain actions to accomplish my goal. Correct? So, in other words, this is the road which the government constructed. This is the road which the OYO constructed on which I am taking actions. Representing this road is called your flow. This is the road network, right? You see your map, Google map, let us say, your map with a network of all the roads is the flow. Okay? Now, listen very carefully, guys. I want to go to the milk shop. There is a flow which the government has constructed. That is the road network, right? But I want to buy milk. Will I go to all 100 roads in the city? No. I'll take those particular roads which will take me to the dairy. Correct? So, what an individual is doing, accomplishing their task, following a flow is called a journey. Right? The rail network exists, but you are having a journey from Delhi to Mumbai. You got it? The rail network is the design, is the flow which is designed. In the same way, a designer designed all the flows, architected the entire product of OYO so that individual users with their individual goals can perform, take their individual routes. So mind-blowing, right? Right? Yeah.
Anudeep.
Sir, can you please explain again?
Yeah. Cool, I'll explain again. Yeah, I know people Probably not everyone has landed there yet. What I'm trying to say is, this coming, okay, I'll ask a question. You know what? People are confused about this particular question. Hey, you know what, Anudeep, which flow should I take? There are hundreds of flows, right? And that's why what I said is, I know that happens. It's a very good question that you're asking. That, Anudeep, there are hundreds of flows. Which flow should I take? Right? That's why I said, go, let's have a goal to start with. Within the goal, what is the flow which I'll follow? Right? In other sense, I want to buy milk. Entire road network exists, but what are the roads which I'll take to go and buy milk? Right? You understood the difference, guys? Of course, I'll come to the part where, Anudeep, I could have traveled 3 different routes to go and buy milk. I'll come there. I will come there. But before that, do you understand the difference between having a road network versus a user being able to go and travel and have a journey within one particular road? Right? You understood the difference? Okay. Now, as a designer, what you will end up building is the road network. You're not just limiting, you're not saying only the user will come and buy milk, only that road I will lay, everything else, no. If you are living in the city, all you should do is just buy milk, or else don't come to the road. That's not what a designer does. The designer sits and make the entire road network. How? By understanding all the use cases of a particular city. People want to buy milk, people want to go here, go there, have their houses. All these use cases are there. They have these kinds of vehicles. Understood all this and build a road network to facilitate all the types of users to perform their individual actions. But an individual user is having one single journey at one point of time for their particular goal. Right? This, my friends, is information architecture. Yeah. Right? Malik is saying no.
No, I was like, oh, so during the hackathon, we had this person who kept talking about information architecture, and it seemed so complicated, and things just like clicked into place, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, no, that's all it is. Brilliant.
Right? Okay, of course. I'm not oversimplifying information architecture. I give you a sense of what it is, right? By explaining, because to build an entire road network, it is very difficult. To build an entire app, it's very difficult, right? Your architecture is allowing multiple people to take multiple routes, to have their multiple types of goals, to go through multiple flows. The study of doing this, or your goal, your activity of doing this, is the architecture. Just like, what is the architecture of this house? Let's say you're in a house. What's the architecture of your house? The way you design the house in such a way that multiple types of people live in your house, multiple goals keep coming. You want to go from the kitchen to bedroom, you want to go from bedroom to here, whatever, right? You're doing various types of activities, various goals. Every time you're taking different flows, every time you're having different journeys. Okay, I have to reveal one more thing about the journey, but you're doing all this, but your architecture is allowing for all this. And as a designer, you are designing that architecture. How do you arrive there? By going and breaking down this architecture into multiple individual goals, multiple flows, and then stitching all of them together. Right? Beautiful. Now, if you understand this, guys, you'll understand literally what you do as a UX designer. Added one point, which I'm going to state now as well, right? You want to build a house, okay? Before, let us say you want to build a house, you are thinking about, okay, you will ask these questions, right? Let us say you're an architect, a lot of architects exist here. How many people would stay typically, right? Are these for middle-class families or high-class families or whatever, right? Will there be, like, generally there'll be like people with these 2 kids, whatever, right? With these kind of offices nearby, probably there'll be airport employees here, probably there'll be government employees here. You'll understand more about users, right? And you'll understand how they would use. Typically, a lot of people are North Indians here, for example, right? Most of them would cook rotis or something. You might call me judgmental, but sorry, personas is that only. So, right? So, so you understand users, you make generalizations, right? And you design. So you understand, okay, if I have to cook rotis, people generally want to probably have it hot, or as rotis being cooked, they're being served onto the tables or whatever. Let us see, understood this. This is one individual activity which is happening, which you are taking as one use case. You're putting into your talk, saying, I should be able to cook rotis. Right? You just, hey, what is there so obvious roti? There are kitchens in the world you can't cook a roti. That's what I'm telling you. Right? To take this use case. In this way, note down all those use cases which you have. And then using all those use cases, that is when you'll come up with a plan for a house. That's the same thing you do here as well, guys. Right? You're building a product. You understand multiple use cases, multiple goals, which are possible for multiple types of users, and build this road network or this particular app or product in such a way multiple people can accomplish their goals. Just that these products are too big, cater to a large number of people, large number of use cases. And therefore, like probably a house is still very large enough. It's not easy, but probably you can conceive doing it in probably some 5-6 months or some year or something like that, right? But a product, not possible by one person, not possible in 1 month, 2 months. Many people over a lot of time. So what do? Instead of aiming for building an entire app, we aim at building a small part of the product, for which we are architecturing stuff. And how do you go there? By going understanding multiple use cases, multiple tasks which users are doing and all that stuff, and clubbing all that, stitching all together and making the design. This is what answers your question when you ask this question, right? Anudeep, if I want to do this, if I want to increase conversions, here drop-off will happen, because all of you are only thinking of banners. You put a banner. You want people to go to the cart. You're putting a banner for the cart also. Please go to the cart. Right? You want to, I'm saying, please increase the DAUs on, let us say, pharma category. So you'll put a banner on pharma category. Then what about other categories? That is where architecture comes in. Will you only design your house to just directly enter the bedroom? Or you'll make it easier for people to enter their bedroom, having other constraints that they also should be able to go to other rooms? That is the beauty of architecture. Clear, no? Yeah? Of course, I'm not saying you're clear about doing entire architecture and tomorrow you'll start doing everything. This is just the start. We need to get this mindset. You need to understand this. Then you'll be very clear. Got it? So you need to be solving things within the constraints of other things in the system. Keeping the entire architecture in your mind, you introduce design so that other things won't fall. Right? But of course, don't do it. We don't do this in a perfectionist manner. No problem. I'll make the journey to my bedroom easier. As a result, I made it extremely difficult to reach the kitchen. I'll realize it after I test it, and then they'll optimize it, which is totally possible. That's why we test. That's why in your design thinking, you learned about testing also. It's just not just prototype and leave it. That's why we test, right? That's how we understand whether things are breaking or not. Right? So, enough. Okay, someone wanted to ask a question before I go and express one wonderful point. Okay. No question? Fine. Probably they forgot. Or probably everything is cleared after this. It's 9 o'clock and 93 people are there on the call. Oh, I can't believe this. Yeah. Now look at this, guys. Okay. Now, fine. This assignment, straightforward. Okay. That's why I said, what is the goal? Right? Users want to send a message. Okay. How do you do that? What are the actions which user is taking? Now it's clear. Multiple paths can exist to do this. No problem. Do it. Put all of them. Right? But, a big but over here. Carefully listen, all of you. Right? Let's say you want to go to this milk shop, whatever I said. Right? 3 roads exist from house to dairy. Correct? three possible flows exist for the same task or the same goal, correct? Will your experience traveling on all three roads, will it be the same? It will not be the same. Your experience is dependent on, wait for it, on an individual journey. What does a journey mean? Again, there are multiple trains from Delhi to Mumbai, but you will have your journey in one single train. Is it clear? Did it make it clear? No? I'll explain it. Okay. The difference between a journey and a flow is, as again, flows, multiple trains exist, right? But where are you having an experience? On an individual journey. Like you go from Delhi to Mumbai, taking a train, that is where you're experiencing it as a human, because you can't travel in all the three trains. Right? Your experience is linked to the journey which you had as an individual. Right? Now, look at the beauty, guys. Okay? Now, what I said is, okay? Here, there can be more than one way. So you plotted this, right? There'll be this. But what we do is, let us say you want to improve the experience of this. What you'll think, okay, you know what? There are 10 flows, 100 flows over here. All of them I have to improve at once. You don't have to. What do? We go and take one path. Because one path is how a user can have their journey to in or whatever. Journey on. What's the right proposition? Anyway, right? One path is what a user can take and have their journey. And how do I, when I say journey, right? When I say, so, you know what, let me ask, let's talk about train journey, because train journey is like really, really nice feeling, right? Flight is like, okay, but train journey has like, you know, from your last train journey, okay, tell me something which really, really made you happy. Come on. Like, what do you remember from your last train journey?
Meeting new people, having
Met new
conversation.
people. Okay.
Good food, window seat.
Almost missed the
Someone said
train.
good food. What I do? Probably your own food, huh? Yeah. I'll change it. Bad food. Okay. Then what do you remember? Come on, in the journey you had.
Beautiful landscape.
Beautiful landscapes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Good sleep.
Good hospitality.
We are. You guys have such great experiences in trains. No problem. Yeah. Great hospitality. They gave blankets and all. Nice. Yeah, they're doing good job. Yeah. Next. Yeah.
Creepy people. Listening to our complaints, they were quick to act on it.
Think smaller things. Yeah. Come on. That's what I'm telling you.
How's the train going?
Reaching journey on booking the ticket.
Sorry?
Booking the ticket, like
Not
struggle of
within the train journey.
within
Within
the
your train journey.
Reaching destination
Watched a
on time.
movie. Watched a movie.
Not able to control the AC.
Not able to control AC. Problem.
Tracking the train.
Charging button is not working.
Charging button is not working. Or I was able to charge my phone. I'm so happy.
Not enough space for me and my dog.
Fighting for their
Getting
luggage.
onto the
No proper space to put the luggage.
No proper space.
Folding
People are
tray.
fighting for their luggage.
Very
Right?
blanket.
Folding tray. Back tray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracking live location.
Very crowded
People,
train.
People fighting
Full
for the
train
window.
people
or empty
blocking
train.
the entrance.
Very empty.
Empty seat
I got the
nearly.
window seat.
Empty
People
seat
fighting
nearly.
for the
People
window seat
blocking
even.
the entrance.
Entrance. Right?
Someone snoring.
No. Cool. So when I ask you about your train journey, you're telling me all these things of what you remember. This, when I ask you what's your experience when you had your last train journey, if you observed, in all your answers, you attached an emotion with respect to it. You're happy, you're sad, you had a problem, you had an opportunity. You're doing some actions, you're thinking about something. Correct? You're thinking about, will I get a blanket or not? When will this TT come here? Will I get the seat? You're thinking about all these things, right? You're doing some actions. You're holding on to that window, opening the window like emergency window and putting your head outside, performing these actions, putting the luggage, you're doing all this. You're happy, you're sad that the food is not great and all that stuff. Emotions, actions, thoughts. You're doing all these things. You're having some pain points, opportunities are all associated to the journey you're having. So as a UX user experience design, see, I mean, I'm getting these goosebumps. I'm telling as I'm telling all this. As a user experience designer, if only you can understand about people's emotions, actions, thoughts, feelings, all this stuff, their pain points, good things, bad things, all this stuff, at every small part of this particular train journey, you can improve their experience. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that is exactly what we do as user experience design. User understand their experience by understanding their journey, which is plotted on a particular flow. Right? Your flow is making a person, a user, experience a journey. The flow is a road. The flow is a train, one particular train. On top of it, user is having a journey by having multiple thoughts, feelings. Hey, where do I search? Oh, here I search. Right? There's so many icons. This is so bad. Oh, jobs, very nice. It's not, it's great. Let me go and see what this jobs is. Your user is having these experience, and experience is explained in terms of your feelings, thoughts, emotions, right? All these manners is how your experience is plotted. Plotting all this, I didn't give you the assignment yet, but plotting all this on top of a flow and improving each of these things by going, so what do? Let us say the plug points are not working in your train, correct? That's like food is not great, plug points are not working, right? How do you improve my experience now? How do I improve my experience?
Maybe
Fixing the
By
problem.
listening to the remarks.
You fix the plug points, better plug points. Okay. One thing is to, okay, one more beautiful point, guys. Plug points are not working. Some user complaints, correct? One thing is to go, which bogie, which one, go to that bogie, fix that particular plug points. That is one way of doing. But as a designer, we don't just do that. What we do is we select a better design of plug points, better variation of a plug point, which doesn't break so often. Mind blown, no? There's a difference between your car got a puncture. What can you do? Right?
fix puncture.
Go to the puncture shop, get it fixed.
Fix the puncture.
Right?
We'll also check
What
all
a lot of
other
designers do is they remain as this puncture shop, whatever that person is called. They'll go fix the tire. Over. What is that person paid? 150 rupees, 200 rupees, something like that. But no, you are UX designers, you're not sitting at puncture shops. You're sitting at MRF or Bridgestone. You're designing a better tire which leads to lesser punctures. Crazy, no? Yeah. That's what we do as UX designers. We understand the experience. We understand how do I understand experience? Road punctured, tire punctured. I felt bad. That is how I got an experience, right? Tires are working for a long amount of time. It's very great. It's a good experience. How did I get there? By going and designing better tires, not by fixing those tires and sitting in the puncture shop. Right? Super. I think I should take a screen recording of the comments coming today. Yeah. So that's it, guys. So the entire exercise, which directly translates to your portfolio projects or your projects which we do as user experience designers. We have business goals. The product managers, whatever, who track these goals, there's a business goal translated into, I don't know why Padmini looks like that. And I'm like, what am I missing? Anyway, so there is this goal which is spoken to you. You translate it into this particular statement, which comes out to be, how do I make sure more people use my product or whatever? You go to that particular product, right? You can now go and observe this particular flow on which people are having their journey, plot how people are having their journey, write down their thoughts, write down their emotions, write down their actions, pain points, this and all that stuff. Think about what problems can be solved, make those things better, not by spot fixing things on this particular screen, but by entire architectural revamps, which can lead to better experience of the users. Awesome, no? Right? And what I'm trying to say is a lot of people, designers, do these fixes. Oh, people are not able to understand this. Let me just simply change the text height, this, that. Great, you can do that. But instead, can you think about re-architecturing the entire thing so that I can have lesser number of problems and have a much better experience? Right? Launch Vande Bharat trains. Right? Fix existing train bogies, launch Vande Bharat trains. Exploratory design project, evaluative design project. Evaluative research, exploratory research. Create new products, make existing products better. That's it. Over, class. You can ask me questions now. That's what we're chasing, guys. Okay? That's how important these exercises are. And that's why this is directly related to your portfolio projects. The better you understand this, the better you'll be able to perform, the more mature your projects will be, the better the chances that you will work very well in the companies which you go to with all this kind of clarity. Yeah. Of course, you can ask me questions. It's 9:15. Yeah.
I have a one question.
Yes.
I don't know it's relevant or not. But I was asking if we got a problem, we went on a micro level and did this correction in a design.
Correct.
And then how would we get this problem is coming from the product is not good rather than design is not good?
No. What do you mean product is not good, design is not good? What's the difference? What is not good means design is not good.
Sorry?
Okay, fine. Go ahead. You say it first, then I'll explain. What's the difference between the product not good and design not good?
I mean, is the product which maybe working for the experience of their new updates is not user is enjoying or something, or I'm just keep updating in a design field or something, which is not relevant at all. How would we get we are going in a wrong direction or something?
No. You're not changing your question. What you're trying to ask is, what if the train, it's the problem with the train, not with the train's design. That's what you asked, frankly speaking. And I'm saying both are the same. The product is not good because the design of the product is not good.
It's like UX and CX.
UX and
CX.
No, yaar, I mean.
I think he's telling like if shampoo is not good and you're just making the app better.
That's right. I know what he's trying to ask, but I want to come there. You're right. Right? Who told this? Rakshita, your shampoo is not good means the design of your product is not good. Because you are thinking the design of the product means only the packaging design of it.
Okay.
And I'm not talking just about packaging design. The shampoo needs to be good. That is what makes your product good. And the packaging design is also good. And the box is also good. Because all of them are contributing to the experience. right from the pillow to the blanket to the entrance of the train to the train coming on time to TT coming, people fighting, everything is contributing to the experience of the person having a journey in the train. Right? Because generally we think only the decoration part is what is the job of the designer. Not. Decoration is a part of the entire design. Clear, no?
Anudeep,
All the
but
learning
as
frustration gone with the wind.
Anudeep, but as a
A
user
scam,
experience
I do
design,
this scam. I make you frustrated so that you can come and get relieved over it. That's a scam which I do. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
but
Ask us.
Anudeep, as a UX designer, I am not responsible if the product is bad, right?
You are responsible. What do you mean product is not bad? You're not solely responsible because it's a product which is involved. Everyone's hand is involved. It is. I mean, see, people hate me on Twitter. Okay, I mean, I don't post anything on Twitter, but there's a lot of hate on Twitter. Single reason, ads. My ads are really crappy. Like, right? But does it make me not responsible for it? I am, because though I'm not solely responsible for it, I am responsible for it. Right? So that's what I'm saying. As a designer, you can't control everything. But do you have the responsibility towards it? Yes, you have the responsibility towards it. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
If your question is
Sorry, sir.
deeper, then I have a deeper answer for you. Right?
Then I have a deeper answer too.
Because the reason I told is, see, the ads need to be good, the program needs to be good, everything needs to be good for the entire experience to be good and the business to work out very well. Right? The ads are crappy, the program is good or not, you should only tell. Right? So that's where this is happening. Right? But yes, obviously, if I'm the designer of this particular program, I need to make sure all the parts of the experience are working great. And obviously, I'll be making compromises. Yes, I'm making a big compromise because I don't have time towards doing that. But yes, but am I responsible? Yes, I should be responsible as a designer of this program. That the entire program, all the things are going in a good manner. So that's a response. Because you asked about responsibility, I gave you answer about responsibility. If the question is, can I control everything? Obviously, you cannot control everything. It's a team effort.
Yes, sir.
Clear? So that's
So
why.
how do we act on it?
One thing. There is one question which came over here. Probably that's what you're asking me right now as well. Is, since it's not just my job, Anadi, but you're still saying I'm responsible for it. So what do I do over here? That's where the concept of influence comes. As a designer, it is always our responsibility, therefore, to go and influence the stakeholders whom we are working with to drive this positive impact. How is a very big topic. We'll come back to it later. But do we have responsibility in influencing our stakeholders? Yes, we do have the responsibility of influencing stakeholders. And that's how the question was asked was, how do I convince my product team that through these design changes, how is it that I can improve, like I improve the business? That was a question which came, right? The convincing part, right? Yeah, that's what someone was asking a question. Is this the same question you're trying to ask?
Yeah, a similar thing. How do we act on it? Like shampoo example, do I go to the production team and tell them that it is crappy, change something about it?
And if you tell them it is crappy, they'll fire you.
Yeah.
That's why influence is different from telling it straight to the face, hurting them, rebelling with them. Protest is different from influence, right? Sometimes protest works, sometimes influence, like sometimes probably talking about it works, sometimes showing them the benefit of having a better shampoo itself works, which is what we do as UX designers, right? Of course, I said it's a big topic to understand how is it that you establish your impact, but I'll tell you a secret. The secret is very simple. Through the entire class, I told you the forward direction. Metrics to flows to experience to what a designer does. Just take the backward direction. Split it into micro, tell how the experience can be improved, how that improvement can lead to a better flow and architecture, how can that lead to better metrics. Product manager is convinced. You don't go and beg and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, the ads are very bad. What to do? Cry, sit and cry. No. Showcase them that because of all these things, lesser sales are coming. Now I'm playing their game. Yeah. That's what a designer does. You say, hey, you know what? Let's go and make sure that I'll take this example. Introduce, so let's say this this feature was there, no? Continue your search. Let's say I want to introduce this particular feature as a designer. If I only go to my product manager and say that, hey, you know what, we should do this, it will really help customers. It will help them continue their previous searches and all. They'll not be convinced because you're not talking their language. Now you should have the ability to say, because I now say continue your search, because of this, people can go and search faster, better task completion, right? People can now, when they come back, they easily go back to their particular search, retention, right? And task completion also leads to conversion, let us say, right? Lesser drop off because people don't have to fill everything again. So they won't drop off. They'll directly click on this and go. Lesser drop offs lead to better conversions. So, dear product manager, you want to impact 3 metrics. Your next promotion. Let's build this feature. That's how.
Sir, I have a question.
Right? One second.
Yeah,
Did you
sure.
understand this, guys? Influence comes through stating your work in their language. That's how you influence people. You're basically answering what's in it for me question to the product managers and the things. So is it a perfect science to be learned? No. It's an art which has to be mastered over time. Is everyone successful? Is it like Anudeep can absolutely convince anyone, including Jeff Bezos, to build a wonderful Amazon product? No. I have fights in my team itself. But I'm a good designer because I'm putting good fights. I'm putting fights. I'll be a bad designer if I don't put any fight, just simply do whatever you are asking me to. Got it? Go ahead. Next question.
Sir, I wanted to ask is, how will the designer choose on which flow to work or improve? For example, if it's increase retention, then the designer is going to change the whole information architecture or work on a particular flow. I mean, how will they choose it?
What I told you is what a designer can do, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You can always choose to say, I will only fix this particular small thing. You can always choose to do it, right?
Okay.
So ultimately, the question boils down to the scope of your project. Got it? Now, I'll give you one more answer, which will actually help you get better satisfaction because I know the root cause of this answer. Ultimately, you want to have a good portfolio project, right? Correct? So, what does a designer choose to do is relevant to what should be there in your portfolio project. That's the question, frankly speaking. Now, if fixing a puncture tire helps you better in your portfolio project, or designing a better tire which has lesser punctures help you in a portfolio project?
Second one, obviously.
Second one.
Yeah.
Right? Both are possibilities of a designer. Both can be done. But you choose to work on a project which has higher chances of showcasing your potential in your portfolio project because that's your focus right now. When you go to a company, you can choose to do puncture, this, that, 10 punctures at once, or creating a new tire, or changing the company itself. Not even fixed, not even making tires itself. You can do whatever you want. Right? The scope of what you want to do under the influence and impact which you want to do as a part of your project, right, is dependent, or in other words, is dependent on your project to project. That's right. But when you're building a portfolio project right now, you would rather work on a project which will showcase your potential to the maximum possible within the time you have right now. That's also within the time you have right now. As a maximum potential, Anudeep, I have the potential to create an entire product. No problem. Take 2 years, build your portfolio project, come back. If that doesn't work, take 2 more years and settle as a designer in your 60s. Yeah, got the answer. No? Understood? So even if you're working in a company, even if you're an experienced designer, right? The proposals, whatever, like ultimately everyone is wondered what is worrying about their growth, right? There is no selflessness in companies. I'm so selfless. I want my company to absolutely grow. No, I have my selfishness. I want to work on good projects which deliver good business impact, which influence my stakeholders pretty well, so that it works very well in my portfolio, so that I can get a better job tomorrow and a better health. I am selfish. And that selfishness helps the company grow. Right? So this selfishness is what is leading to the scope of your project. You would want to do a bigger project or you want to do a smaller project, is this selfishness is dictating it. If you are in Sarkari Naukri, things work different. Like anyway, if you'll get salary, you'll not be fired, growth is all consistent, then you will not do things. I mean, not to say anything else. Like Sarkari Naukri wala thought process. I don't have anything against Sarkari Naukri. On the thought process of the people doing Sarkari Naukris. Right? So there is no selfishness. Everything is satisfied. So therefore, your scope of the project is go fix a nut and you are going to build something else. Right? Okay.
Anudeep, I had a question. Can I ask?
Yes, go ahead, Shashwat.
So, it is related to business impact. When we are talking about business impact, I feel somewhere the time that information, like whoever get the information first has the ability to predict and analyze what will happen, right? Like for an example, there is Flipkart and Amazon, and so one of them gets the news first that COVID is going to hit.
Correct.
So one of them could take the decision, okay, we need to show a banner that laptop has to be sold. So it doesn't give an unfair advantage to people who are getting information first. And as UX designer, when we are entering these markets, how do we combat with people who have this information first? Like they get this information first.
Oh, I thought you're talking about product competitive advantage, and that's what I was listening to question. We are talking about your competitive advantage in the market as a designer. What are you talking?
No, like the product itself. Like how does product gets advantage? Like because I will be impacting the product itself, right? So I need to make the product.
What you're trying to say is, see, that's why you need to understand what constitutes an experience, right? This is only one small part of an experience, right? If a Flipkart,
An idea come to life when the information you need.
What, Niharika? Watching a YouTube video to confirm whatever I'm saying, huh?
No, sir, that was by mistake. I'm so sorry.
Just kidding. It's okay. Okay. So now, an unfair advantage, ideally, a designer wouldn't worry so much about it, frankly speaking, but a tactical business unfair advantage of data being available much faster to a certain company versus another company. Definitely, product managers, business owners really worry about it. Who is the fastest person to get that data and or introduce a feature or build it faster possible? This is a game. This is a competitive game, right? That's how, because the competition is there, that's why a lot of advancement is happening, frankly speaking, right? But it's not, this is how the system is. Competition and having competitive advantage is how product growth companies are focused on. That is how the system is. As a designer, you are supposed to act within that system. You know that if competitive advantage comes, you are supposed to act faster and design it faster and ship it faster. So you'll help the team design it faster, make faster assumptions, bring in faster data, right? Or bring more experience into the game to reduce the risk. Right? As a designer, you're helping the team beat the competitive advantage or have a competitive advantage. But there is nothing you can do to stop the competitive advantage. That is a system.
Right.
In other words, if you want to become a politician, everyone says, okay, let me change the system. Let me make India corruption less, this, that, whatever. No, that's not how you become a politician. Within the system, how do you play your game is what you will learn. Right? The system won't change for you, right? But you impact the system through your own game. Right? So I'll give you an example. These days I stopped giving my personal examples because of some tweets. But probably I can give, right? So there was this particular project where it was in a previous company, we were pitching to a bank on a certain concept. And what happened is, I can't tell you the project details, but there is some, okay, fine. So the pitch is there. Next week, let us say next week, the pitch is there. We need to build an entire concept, go to that particular bank and pitch it. Okay. So what happened is, there is very limited resource. There's me and a couple of other designers over there, right? And then very limited time, just 1 week to go to the bank, and also multiple banks and all after that, right? This was what was there. Now, what was asked for us is something which is impossible to be done in a week's time. Okay? It's almost humanly impossible for us to do. But what we did is, we did something which went and made it possible, and the pitch was done, right? It was a successful pitch. It worked out. Came back, I was heavily rewarded for it. Okay, I got a good promotion, I got good number of stocks and all that stuff for that particular activity which I did. Okay, not giving a lot of details. Okay, but so what it did is, instead of going and doing everything what they think should be done, right, in a very traditional manner, I went and thought about what are the system optimizations which can do in such a way they can deliver a project with what is important for them to act. So I understood their language and translated it through my design and supported them, and basically segregated the work within the team. And we worked on what is very important for that particular pitch to work very well, and built a system around it. Right? Now, here the reason I'm telling this particular story is because that person is responsible for, if I was not there, if someone else was there, the company couldn't have reached that particular impact. Right? I'm not changing the way banking system works or the way they want the pitches to be made or whatever. Probably I have complaints about that. Yeah, why do they want to see this? Why is this required? All this stuff. I didn't change that system. I changed what I can control by understanding the system very well, empathy. Right? Not just user empathy, empathizing your stakeholders and the system very well, and coming up with an architectural solution which will help not just the spot fix of whatever they're asking and do like hours and hours of effort. No, that's not what I did. Smart work, thought about what is required over here, prioritize those things, built a system around it, and delivered, which actually worked. And worked from later on. Like the system kept on working for multiple banks from there with very minimal effort of ours. Right? This is how we impact. You know, this. I know the example kind of sounds vague because I'm not giving you details. I can't give you the details. But what I'm trying to say is the impact comes in that particular manner, bro. Right? So, and these are like, as you prepare a story like this, you will have a wonderful career.
Got it.
Story in the sense, not like I'm not making up a story.
Understood. Like, yeah.
You will have to act like this.
Right.
Got it? So, yeah, from tomorrow onwards, not simply doing whatever is asked, but it doesn't mean you'll rebel. I've not rebelled here. I just didn't do what they asked because they are not the experts in deciding what I need to do, but I achieved their own goals in a much better manner. And that is what is expected of me.
So let us suppose the bank asked you to achieve a goal.
All the banks
What-
said, put banners 100 places or whatever. That's what they said, right? That's not what they didn't say that. And make
Right.
this entire thing, bring all this data, what the banks said, let us say. Doing everything will be pointless, right? They'll also realize after the end of the design that it doesn't work. But what I did, I understood that is what the requirement is. I made sure I communicated to stakeholders on what is architecture I'm trying to build. Right? I went into multiple rounds of iterations, showcasing the kind of architecture which I'm trying to build over here. Did quick testing, right? Did all these things and made sure I'm convincing them that this is what is going to work, what is not going to work, and deliver everything. Built a system that this can be replicated and delivered it. So I played this entire game, right? Because I know they want a result. Ultimately, when they say do this, do that, they don't mean to me to do that. They actually want a result.
Right.
Who is a better designer? A better designer is someone who gives the result by being the expert in what they are trying to do in a much efficient manner. That person is an expert. You go to a doctor, you ask them, please give me diclofenac. If the person gives you diclofenac, that has become a great doctor? No. No. Don't say yes.
Yeah. No, I
You're
I
agreeing.
had another question is like, so somewhere you're taking a risk which might go otherwise as well, right?
You're right. You're right. There's always a risk, right? That's the part of the game, brother. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you do not take that risk, you will be a non-performing designer always.
Got it.
That's why you'll not grow. That's why I keep saying, no, if you're only waiting for instructions to go and learn, you're not taking your risk. You're fearing that you will not learn things properly. You'll not do perfect things. But the job itself demands you to be like this.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. Awesome, brother.
Anudeep, I have a question.
Yes, Abdul.
When we were discussing about the Myntra thing, you said that bringing a change in the IA could lead to unpredictable impact on the business metrics.
No. Okay, fine. I accept. Go ahead. Next.
So, and now you were telling that we can bring about change in the IA while updating the flow.
No. Wait. What I said when I was saying in Myntra is where is that? When I showed, I don't know where this Myntra, which Myntra example?
No, when we were having discussion with Malvika, me and regarding that section in the cart page.
Oh, it was not doing this call?
No, not in this call, but in the level 2 chat.
This was the first workbook that we had this week where we looked at the you may like section and whether Myntra should recommend complementary products or...
Okay. Sorry. Did I say IA there?
Yeah, you said you said you should start suggesting solution. Then I suggested a solution then you said that this requires restructuring the design and which could lead to unpredictable impact on the metrics.
Correct. You're right. Yes, now I understand. Right? Without the understanding of how businesses can, because your solution is a very macro solution at that point of time. Right? And then the entire restructuring, the entire solution, whatever you're trying to suggest, is going to lead to unpredictable changes without the understanding of how metrics are going to be impacted, right? It is obviously going to go very unpredictable, right? Because what I was trying to prove over there is people are only thinking very macro instead of going into the micro.
Okay.
That's why I said unpredictable, right? Here, what I was establishing is you go to the micros, right? To fix you understand individual journeys, but you re-architecture an entire solution, putting an optimized experience for the entire re-architecture which you do, because you understand what are the metrics and goals which you want to impact out there. Being cognizant of the goals which you have, you're going into the micro, understanding multiple flows and what is happening in the micro, and re-architecturing a solution.
Okay.
Do you understand the difference? Not being cognizant and randomly suggesting a micro change versus understanding the micros and coming up with a calculated, optimized restructuring is what I'm talking about. Okay, now I think it'll be even more clear. When I say re-architecture, it's a big project. It's not one single idea. That you understood when I shared my screen and showed you, saying that I just keep a banner, let us say, ye kiya to wo fat kiya. Right?
Yeah.
Right? In the same way, instead of banner, you said, what did you say?
In the product description page, you have the complimentary recommendation, and we can put that in the cart
Let's
page.
put this in the product description page. Let us remove it from the cart page. This is like a big suggestion you are giving. Right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, just like putting a banner, it can take things haywire. Like anything can happen. If you do this, and that can happen. Why? Because it is not a solution thought out by considering the micro and considering the journey. It's a solution needs to be derived by not calculating, by understanding the entire stuff, understanding the journey of whatever is happening over here, and suggesting a solution over an entire architecture.
Okay.
It is not just a single idea, right? It will be a bunch of things which you are doing, which probably can be described as a single idea, but that's not how you start. Like you don't say, hey, you know what, I'll just do this, and then like, ho gaya, like unpredictably changes will happen.
Okay.
Right? You work on the project, probably you'll end up doing all these things. But how? By going and understanding all the micros, understanding what all needs to be done, and then fixing it, stitching everything together by having a better architecture.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That it's a direction and the process which you are taking to go there versus just that particular activity.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Understood.
In general, what I do is I make sure people understand the problem in deep first before they suggest a solution.
Okay. Got it.
That's where I was hinting towards. Because if you don't understand a problem clearly, your solution can lead to unpredictable consequences.
Okay.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yes, Deepali.
Hi, Nadi.
Is there a question? When will this call stop?
Sorry?
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I was not supposed to ask, but then I was like, I've already delayed for 2 weeks. Now I'll ask.
Yeah.
It was similar to what Shashwat gave an example, and when you spoke about the stuff, something similar happened with me. We got direct bounce rate and drop-off rate for PDP pop-up. So we have a pop-up, and that PDP pop-up, there was a lot of bounce rate. And then we didn't have project manager, but it directly came from CTO. So there was a huge conflict there, and we had to convince him.
Correct.
The problem here is everyone was focusing on PDP. There was a huge project now happening around PDP that you have to announce that entire page. But when we actually saw Hotjar recordings and other stuff, we realized the problem wasn't in PDP. The problem was actually lying on landing page and search. Because from search result, they couldn't add stuff. But now that tool part, which we said, right? How do we understand? Because as a designer, if you're given or any conversation, it's about PDP. We will directly start thinking about enhancing PDP as today we did. Everything was around one particular module. Cart, then we're talking about cart only. But there are reverse things where we had to go backwards and figure out some different metrics or different. It even landed up saying that in inventory, we had no products. And it's the funniest part. And
so that's why today's class becomes even more important, because I'm talking about a journey.
Yeah.
When you understand about a journey, that's what I said, right? Fixing a puncture versus making a better tire is exactly what I was talking about. Because a lot of times, this is how product managers come to you with many projects of mine. Same thing. Hey, you know what? This particular page, there is a problem. Let's redesign it. And here we are, conversion is a big problem over here. Registrations are not happening over here. Change the design of this page. I always take a step backwards. You want to improve these registrations? No problem. Let me first understand the journey of a customer from where they are starting to ending up over here. Right? I'm scoping it. but I'm obviously zooming out because I know I don't want to just spot fix it. When you do that, that's what designers do, frankly speaking. Okay, I'll come to answering your question, your specific question which you asked in the chat, right? But when you go zoom out, understand the journey, okay, you will figure out that the problem can lie in multiple places, right? And you'll have a holistic understanding of where all can I fix so that I can re-architecture this whole thing and have a much better experience. You can think like this. Now, when you do this, you will understand that you'll have to zoom in into multiple parts.
Yeah.
You have to probably zoom in into the landing page. You'll have to probably zoom in into the cart or something like that, right? There you make one more journey diagram there. Only on those micro activities which are happening over there. Because the more you want to work on something and optimize an experience, the better you will go, the more zoomed in you will go into the journey.
Yeah.
Right? When it's a journey, it's not that you're always making these journey diagrams. Sometimes we don't even make diagrams, but we directly act on it with being cognizant of the journey in our brain. But on the screen, we are making screens only.
That's
right?
where my tool thing came into the picture. Like, what exact tools we will use?
I'll come there. I'm coming there. That's what I'm saying. I know what your question is. I'm coming there. So first you got the heart. So as a designer, I am basically trying to understand the journeys and impact a customer's journey. That's what I'm trying to do. Whether I make a journey map or not doesn't matter. What matters is do I have this ideology or this idea of impacting a journey versus a single spot fix, a journey fix versus a spot fix, right? This is what I need to have. Now, how do you get there? You need to understand what is happening at multiple places. What you are saying, Hotjar and all that Hotjar gives you both qualitative and quantitative metrics, right? These analytical tools gives you data points at multiple parts of your funnel or the journey, okay? In other words, okay? Using this data, you can get answers to why, because how do you optimize the journey? You need to understand why customers are behaving like that. To understand why, you'll need qualitative data, because why means qualitative data. Either you go do interviews and stuff like that, or there are tools which present. Sorry, actually, does Hotjar present qualitative data? Mostly quantitative data only, no?
No, you can get recorded.
You got individual recordings of how people did. So that's where you're getting qualitative data, right? Few recordings, right? Because when it comes to qualitative, it is no more about large volumes because you can't process all that, right? Probably AI can process all that later. But again, it's just another tool to help us analyze qualitative data in a better manner. That's it, right? So let's say that happens. Now you got the data to understand the reason why, right? Now, either you are involved in the entire process of finding this data, understanding how to use Hotjar, understanding how to use, let us say, segment and all that stuff, okay? And find out this data. 1 week gone just in this. When will you sit and design? You can't. So what you'll do is, as a smarter designer, you can understand the data, but you won't find the data. You will give it to a product manager. You find the data and tell me, these are the questions I have. I'm not able to figure out why people are not coming from here when the entire information is present over here. Something is blocking them. Show me what's happening on the page. They'll show you a recording or whatever, or give you the data, right? Most of the times, what we do is we take quantitative data, how many people are actually coming from here to here, and then make educational guesses on the qualitative side. Probably, oh, this is where it is low. Oh, probably it's because this page is not clear. Right? We have not done any qualitative research, but we're making a guess over there because the quantitative data says that something is failing over there. So we have our own reasons, which will probably work, which will experiment. Right? Coming back to all this, you're not worried on how to find this data. You're only worried about how to design so that your this data becomes better, right? Or your data is helping you take these decisions. You use the data to take those decisions, but your main job still stays that you go and design that particular experience over there.
Is it a UX person who decides on which data or events need to be added when you're launching a product, so that later on, once you get proper metrics?
I have asked for a lot of events to my product managers. That's what I'm saying. There is a difference between what is your main job versus whether you have the ability to talk like this and ask for whatever you want. My main job is design. My main thing, that is what I'll do. To help me do a better design, I want certain events to be tracked and certain quantitative metrics to be tracked so that I understand whether this design is being successful or not. Yeah. Or to make an extra iteration. That's why I'm going asking the product manager, hey, can you please go and track these events and set up these events? But will I only go and set up the events? Will I only myself go and do all this stuff? I won't. In Telugu, we say, kukka pan kukka cheyali, gaadida pan gaadida cheyali. Anyone who can translate that?
You can talk concretely, then I could understand.
Dog should do dog's work, donkey should do donkey's work. But that doesn't mean dog doesn't ask the donkey or donkey doesn't ask the dog. They have the capability to do those things. But what is their main job? Because that's what you're being paid for. That is where the quality of your time should go.
Yeah.
Right? So, but do you have the ability to communicate? That you should build. By the way, guys, don't worry about what all we spoke in terms of what is this events, what is this hot jar and all the stuff. When you're working in a real company, if you have a good product manager who discusses all this with you, you will eventually get to know about it. Right now, you don't have to worry about it. Okay? Just don't have to worry about it. When I say events, simple guys, if you're really curious, I'll go and ask the product manager, let us say, hey, you know what? Where was that? I'll say, hey, you know what? Let us go and introduce these, auto-applied best coupon. Let us say that's a feature which we're building. Okay? With that, what happens? I am making sure people make a faster purchase. That means I can go and increase the conversion. Correct? That's what I can do. Right? Now, what happens is, okay, brother, what is the conversion today? Let's say, sorry, we don't know the conversions. Okay? What, brother? Okay, do one thing. Go and set up an event. We call this as an event, which says, go and track this particular metric. See the number of people who are actually clicking on continue to payment at this particular page. So set up an event. So you can go and measure it, and next time I come and ask you, you can give an answer to me. Right? But don't worry about all this. If you understood it, it's fine. It's just a communication. It's just like how much can you speak in Kannada once you come to Bangalore versus how much you cannot. You come, you'll start to learn. Yeah. Ardhamainda Raja?
The last one then. From this, now when we have data and we have the data-driven decisions, and you have NDA, now you are stuck.
No,
in your case study. You make all the data-driven decisions. You have a very proper data, like for search, I had an Algolia data exactly stating what all problems it had. But now I can't add that data. Like, okay, my company had this much of drop-off rate because of NDA.
That's why when we present our projects, we don't showcase our data, but we showcase what did we do basis the type of. That's why even when I talk about it, I won't talk about the exact project details, right? But I will talk about how much ever I can talk about in the project, because another experienced person can obviously identify that the only problem is that they're not able to represent and talk about the data, but we understand that you have the ability to do all that. The story can be told even without that exact data, right? And by the way, this is NDAs are not always so straightforward. There are certain NDAs. There is always reading between the lines and all that stuff, right? Certain companies there will be no rule against privately showcasing your work to some other recruiter, right? Because that's the general practice. They don't publish it publicly, but they privately showcase their projects, hiding confidential data. Okay, it depends on company to company. If the company doesn't allow for anything, obviously they'll be facing some heat, because the employees will come back and say, or probably it'll affect their hiring rate, because people will read the reviews saying that, hey, you know what, this company allows you to not show your work to anyone, so don't join this company because you can't have a career after this. So companies also know it, that if we totally block these kind of things, people will not come here, right? So it's all very, very dependent on the situation you are in. And you need to also understand that the other side of the people are also understanding, right? They also know what an NDA is, and they also know that there are these limitations. So they'll want to, I would want to hire and talk to your stories within your constraints. Yeah. My advice is, one, make a project which is a replica of that project, not representing the data and all that stuff. That is one thing which you can do, which is very difficult. Generally, people don't do that. Or showcase the same project to another company, hiding all the confidential data and checking with your NDA and all that very clearly on what is possible, what is not possible. You can talk to your HR also about this. Okay. It will be very ironic if you're asking what can I show to another company, but you can obviously always have a conversation about this. They are supposed
Funniest
to answer
part
this.
is, I have worked as an analyst, so I have all the data stuff. And it was UX analyst, so
Yeah, I understand.
exact data, hotjar tracking, how the things work. And now I'm like, okay, I can't show that anywhere.
No, that's it. Obviously, you can't show the data, right? But you can have a conversation with your HR in terms of what is allowed, what is not allowed, and what are people doing in general. If they, because not that I'm applying right now, but in general, if I want to apply and make a transition, this is totally blocking me. We need to talk about, and they're supposed to talk about this, right? They can't say no, you should not go from here to any other company. They can't give these answers. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I said, no, general practice, either you make a replica project, or you check if you can do a private showcase of your project, or all you're going to go and tell the other company is there is an NDA, therefore I'm going to explain in quality about what all I did, but I can't showcase you what happened over here. Instead, you can check my other skills, giving an assignment or something, which I can do
I
it.
saw some log profiles, so they just give passwords, so that's fine, right?
Depends again. So there are different rules, right? I mean, if you cannot show it publicly, but you can show it privately, that's what you do. You lock the profile and give it.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, understanding the states of UI elements is dependent on we'll not dive deep into it right now. It has dependencies on multiple other assignments which will solve. We'll talk about it together with that, right? But flows, journeys, impact of design, I think this class gives a solid impact on that. Yeah. Of course, you got clarity doesn't mean that there's nothing else to ask. You got clarity means that you have 100 more questions from now onwards. And you'll go in their pursuit and you'll start working towards them. That's what it means. Yeah. So, but definitely the topic which Malvika has been waiting for, what's the difference between a product manager and
Yes, please.
I didn't want to cover it because it can become too confusing. But I think, in other words, I kind of communicated it throughout whatever I said, right? Okay. A product manager is mainly involved in doing all these calculations, taking the ownership of what initiatives can be done and all that stuff, and getting something implemented. They are the owners, the product owners, right? On the other hand, the designer's main job is to sit and deliver the prototypes for these concepts. That's the main job of a designer.
Yeah.
So you have to limit yourselves to understanding and communicating, but not doing the entire thing when it comes to business. Like, I will take full ownership on measuring these business metrics and all the initiatives, whatever the product needs to be taking to go and help these metrics be successful. And then I'll sit with the developers and all that stuff. That's not what your job is, right? But there is an overlap there. The overlap is where the communication happens.
Yeah, I think the start of this lecture really clarified it when you said it is how we influence the factors that drive growth rather than growth itself. So product manager would be the one driving the
Rather than
growth
tracking the growth itself.
and tracking the growth itself. Yeah.
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 So
I know that my first product manager won't fire me because I keep doing his job or her job.
they'll block you.
Yes.
No, it won't work out because you can keep asking questions, you can keep having these conversations, but ultimately you need to produce your results in the 80% of your time. That's where you'll get blocked. That's where you limit your questions. That's it. Yeah. Huh. So curious about IA. Ashmita, what do you mean? That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
sir.
There are multiple other assignments which are going to come in the future. Where is this, Ashmita?
I'm yours. Yes, sir.
Okay, which are related to states of UI, styles, and all these
Okay.
things are related. And then I'm going to discuss about all that stuff together. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for now, all you guys need to understand is states exist, and I need to identify these states. Okay. I saw the questions, but not choosing to discuss them immediately because we'll discuss about it in together relation with other assignments. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
There was one question on states which I felt was going in the wrong direction. Which I'll just tell you 1 second. It's okay. I somehow lost it. It's okay. Fine. But we'll discuss about states later. UI elements have multiple states because they have to facilitate your interactions, right? That's why these states exist. It is important for us to recognize the states. That's what is the heart of that particular exercise. So that you can tomorrow when you design something, you will own your states and do it properly. Okay. So there is a level 3 call which I took yesterday, in which I'm going to release that call to all of you. I did a review of an interview/review of a project which a student has done, in which I have a discussion about this. Okay. About owning up the states, of owning up their own entire elements versus using existing elements versus the states and all that stuff. I have this discussion. So I'll release that recording to you. You'll also have a better understanding, right? So, yeah. Okay. Now coming to the question on IA, I have to close this call. It's already 10:15, 10:05. But curious about how to make IA. The question is wrong. Yash. Why did you ask this? I mean, not wrong to ask the question itself. The question is wrong. I'll explain.
Because it was it is depending on our project, right? We have to use
No.
it everywhere. But
I'll
I
probably
don't know
never
how to
use the
make
term IA anywhere else. Okay.
Okay.
Information architecture is not something which you will do separately. You're always doing information architecture. Because I'll tell you why this misconception comes. A lot of these dummy portfolio projects showcase IA just by putting a sitemap. right? The
Yeah,
map of your
that's right.
house is not
Yeah.
the architecture of your house. The map of your house is a representation of how you have finally made a design to architect the house. Okay? The design, the house itself is the result of the architecture. Do you understand that?
Then, yeah. And then what about the user flow?
You have to listen to
It's
the entire.
also a thing, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What about the user flow? I shouldn't have.
So I did a diploma first in UX UI design.
Because if you understood it the way I presented it, you will not have this confusion. The entire study is architecture. You are architecting the product.
Yeah.
Out of which a flow is one particular flow, one particular road within what your product has.
That I got it.
Okay.
But I just saw in the portfolios, right? That's why I'm confused. That's we have to create first information architecture, then we have to create some journey using the user flow diagram.
That's wrong. There's no first and second here. That's what I'm saying. You're looking at templated portfolios. You're looking at templated portfolios. You look at a site map and then a templated journey map, right? And then HMWs.
So now I need to forget.
Huh? Then HMW.
For now, I need to forget.
And then user flow diagrams, and then from usability. It's a very templated way of doing stuff, right? So what I'm trying to say is making a map of how the entire navigation and how information is organized in your particular product, right, is a result of doing a lot of activities, including designing your screens, understanding multiple journeys and flows and all that stuff. In the end, you can represent it as a flow diagram or a network of all the roads like a map. Okay. This is the result of architecture. That is not the architecture itself. You understood, no?
But before the design, we have to create something, right?
This is all design. What do you mean by design? Before UI design.
Like,
that's what you mean, right? For UI design,
before
right?
UI design.
No, that's not how real projects work. There is no before is UX, after is UI. It's the biggest misconception, no? You're looking at the wrong projects.
So how do I approach some big project, right? Because I cannot start designing
solving
first.
the problems. You have the maturity of how to understand. You basically go and look at your problem brief. You start ideating. You directly start making screens, right? When you are making screens, you're automatically thinking of the architecture of the entire product. You're automatically thinking of stitching multiple flows together. You're automatically thinking of multiple journeys which users can have. You're doing all this automatically. To separate it out and do it before and then go and do it is a perfectionist approach. It's a very textbook approach. It is wrong.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah, you got it now, right? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So don't get confused by looking all those frameworks and all that stuff. Let us say it worked for someone. There's no guarantee that it will work for you right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say it worked for someone sitting in a big service company who wants to quote that these are all the activities which we need to do, because ultimately their client is asking, hey, you're just making screens, should I pay you for that? And say, no. There are so many activities which we do. We empathize, we define, we ideate. As a part of ideation, we do information architecture, we do all these things, make prototypes after it, then do testing through all these frameworks. Now I can bill you 5 times.
I got that. And what about if the client is asking for some information? What will you give me in my project? Like, I have to give something, right? In just 1 week, I cannot give designs.
The client needs the house. What will they do with the plan alone? They will take the plan, but the plan is just a representation of your architecture. That's not architecture itself. So don't misunderstand it. But when it comes to UX design, unlike architecture, the building has to be constructed by your engineers, right? Here, your design is being prototyped in, of course, even architects would prototype using their whatever software to go and do that. But prototyping has become very easy right now. So your result, your entire prototype is actually representing the architecture of the solution. That's what I need as a client. Right?
So how do I approach this situation? Like when client comes to me and they ask me, this is my requirement.
Correct.
And he said that show me something so we can start the project. So what I can show, it's
first version of UI.
It's something documentation or something, right? I need
First
to show
version of
them.
UI. First version of UI. For today's first version of your UI, first cut.
Okay.
Take the most happiest flow, right? The happy flow, right? The most important use case. Take the happy flow, build a first cut of the UI. The colors are not finalized. The font is not finalized. But you've selected some font. It is a font. It's not a finalized font. There's some colors. It's not a finalized color. There is layout, not the finalized layout. There are features.
So I need to show some UI designs, something like this. I was trying to show documentation only or something, information architecture or something.
They'll say, I don't want all this. Please show me the results. That's what they'll show.
Yeah.
You're getting my point, right? I need results, right? So obviously this is the big discussion on how to deal with freelancing, how to deal with the whole service setup is a totally different equation. It's a totally different ball game, right? Because there is, in a product company, there is no one standing between the product and the user, you and your user. But in a services setup, the client is literally standing in between that, right? So there's an entirely totally different ball game, but the client needs results. They need the product. So you need to talk that language, right? Anyway, in today's, I gave you a very shortcut answer. In today's day and age, all I need is the first cut version of my UI, which already showcases that I have worked on the architecture. You don't make another diagram and give it to me, which is not no use to me right now. Because if I can understand your architecture diagram, then why give it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably understand the diagram, right? But as a client, I need the results because that's what I can understand. I'll give you feedback, go and work on it, right? By again re-architecting things. You can explain that you have taken this decision and say, hey, what is this? Why are you keeping this element over here? Go and explain. You know what? When I was looking at these particular journeys, user is not able to do this particular thing. So I wanted to facilitate the user by giving this particular feature over here. So overall, if user wants to take this journey, they are facilitated with this particular feature. That's why it is there. Oh, got it. You debate with the client, right? You don't give them a document saying that, look at it. I don't understand it. Yeah. So the world has changed bit up. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is so 2010s, whatever you approach you fall, because that time hardly anyone knew about how to like high growth startups and high growth focus. People hardly knew what to do, right? So they thought that let's change UX into a cement manufacturing process, do step by step, and always will replicate results. But later they realized that that's not always how it works. This field doesn't work that way, right? So that right now how the field works is totally different because right now prototyping is very much advanced. Back then, it was very difficult to build a prototype. That's why you focus a lot on building those plans before you take any of those decisions, right? And there are, every service company does its own thing, right? I mean, that's why I said, right? Even design thinking is a framework which has been introduced by IDEO, a service design company, to make sure they sell. Right? Now they have something called a circular design process. Frameworks explained to clients make sense. They understand that, okay, their project will be taken care better and you can sell well. right? So I'm not saying they're wrong. The philosophy works, but I'm saying these frameworks are presented in that particular manner so that they can be understood well by others, especially your clients and their self. But that doesn't mean your work is only in that particular way. You design your screen and showcase a map of the architecture. That you can always do. You
But
build the
first, I
house.
need to show something.
You build the house, okay? Someone asks you, please show me the map. You can make a map and give. You can do this.
Yeah.
Right? 2023, straightforward. Prototyping tools are very quick, very, very easy. Build the solution first and then iterate. Straightforward. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Yeah. So, yeah. It's like a cartographer. You walk, note down journey, some more, note it down. I don't know what a cartographer does.
This was about the architect map journey, that conversation. But
Yeah.
basically, when you're first making a map, the map doesn't exist. So you sort of have to walk before you can actually make a map, and then you walk some more, and then you make a map. So I was equating it to that.
Got it. Yeah. I know you are a person of analogies, probably, but me too. But yeah. Okay, so I think we should definitely call it a day. It's 10:20. It's too long of a call. People will curse me for having long call, and then 51 people are still there. That's really good retention. But yes, as Deepali said, I probably have to apply Amrutanjan and take a paracetamol. Just kidding, I don't need it. Every time I take Sunday calls, I am super duper happy because I know I've impacted people's lives. I've changed their perspective for their life, because now your changing doesn't change anymore. Like, you got that. Like, one thing which will stick is, oh, am I fixing the tire or am I redesigning the tire? That will always fix in your mind from now onwards. Even if you hate me tomorrow, this is something which you will never unsee. So that's why I can sleep. Yeah. So Hariharan is still on the call. Anyway, level 3 is not at a 10 p.m. call and then goes to 6. No, level 3 is on Saturday. That's why I split it. Yeah. So, okay, it's a pretty heavy topics this time. That's why the call was longer. For those people, in general, I'm telling you, you can always drop off from the call. There is no, you can always watch the recording, come back and watch the recording. So don't feel FOMO. But yeah, again, I am doing this because I want to discuss a lot and help you. So please don't misunderstand this. And please don't tell me that, you shouldn't be taking long calls and all that, right? I mean, I'm doing this for you guys. I mean, right? Please understand that. Yeah. And these days that's what I'm telling you, I've stopped a lot of my stories, a lot of this, make the calls entirely to the point, very productive. Okay. So yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think we are getting some validations. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, guys, then see you. Have a great Sunday.
What Sunday? You make up my Sunday.
India Australia match, what happened?
India won.
won.
India won.
India won. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, there is a difference. Easy to take. Secret of your productivity. I'm telling you, this is, you have seen me while I was delivering and talking about this, right? You should have actually seen me, like my hair was like standing like this, and like I was having that ecstasy, right? I just love talking about it. I realized so many things myself. I'm talking about it. Yeah. So I want you to also fall into this. That's my point. That's a scam. Yeah. And it scams people, all the students. Fall into this scam. Trap. Yeah. Awesome, guys. See you then. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the session.
Yes.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Right.